Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Saturday night. Just a heads up, I'm having some major internet issues. Chat, let me know if I'm coming through, if I'm not coming through, if I'm coming through pixelated. That was the main problem. All right. Well, it looks like we're good for right now, but it's not like I said, it's not it took me forever to connect. I kept connecting. I had to call Cox to refresh everything. It's just been a pain in the ass today. Hello? I don't ever need to visualize that ever. All right, so we're back up and running. Welcome to the Saturday Overnight Live edition. After skipping last week, I am back in full force. A little bit later than usual because I had wrestling to cover, and I also had the Dodger game I was watching while I was putting together the show, and then I lost internet. I had to use my hotspot, but I didn't want to do that for the whole show, so I had to restart everything. So all right, Brad should be on his way soon. We're going to be discussing as close as I can get because I know a lot of you may not have been able to get this because it has been selling out. I sold out once, and then I got more in today. I went and got some through a different market today. I got a few more copies left. DC's All-In Special #1. It gets this this ultimate, not ultimate. I gotta get that out of my head. It gets the Absolute Universe off and running in grand fashion. I'm going to try to discuss it in a way that gets you excited about it, but doesn't blow it for you, because there are certain things that they do with this story that are bold risks and bold swings. But I think it's going to work out. If you were a Darkseid fan or had respect for him, his presence in the universe prior to now, I think it's going to go up a few notches. What they do with him as this culminates is really cool. It's really cool. So I'm going to kind of give a semi-spoiler to it, but I'm not going to, I don't want to completely ruin it for you. What do you guys think I should do? Should I blow it for everybody, or should I wait, to let my fellow geeks get their hands on it? All right, Chuck Cage, what's going on? Oh, also other topics we're going to discuss is how I would have done Joker 2. Not that YouTube nobody like me means anything, but just in my opinion, how I would have done Joker 2 to make it a little, to make it a lot more enjoyable for me than it was. Good movie still. I don't believe in the bashing that it's got. I think people have lost their minds a little bit because they can do stupid shit on the internet and nobody says anything. But because, like I said, even with it not meeting my expectations, it's not a 39%. I mean, that's absurd. You're putting it in the categories of some of the worst movies that come out this year, and like I said, I think that's sensationalism. But like I said, I will go through what I would have done, and probably got to ask you guys. Let's see, WWE. First thing we're going to talk after we talk to the chat was going to start out with Bad Blood. Watch that today. One of the lesser pay-per-views. We were watching that while we were watching Night of the Living Dead. One of the lesser pay-per-views that they put out. Not even a pay-per-view, it's a PLE. Not very good. We'll get to that. All right, how you doing, Chuck Cage? There's me. I beat Clint to the Duck. Taladia, what's going on? Spider-Man. Numbers, long time no see, at least a few while. I'm doing all right. Like I said, once the internet got back up, it took me about 15 minutes to get that where I wanted to get it. I kept having to move the time because I couldn't get online, so I had to do it from my phone. Hello. Oh, yeah, no, I got your message. That's okay. Yeah, you got screwed by day. We're about to get our hour back. You just gave one away. Daylight savings is a crime. It is an international crime. It needs to be done away with. Let's see. Numbers. Let's see. For Spidey. I wasn't traumatized. I mean, I'm used to Cox's problems right now. Usually this time of night, it's a little bit better than most times. But this time it just completely wouldn't connect. It wouldn't connect at all. I mean, hardwired, nothing. It would not connect. And then I went outside and started talking to some of the people who are still here, and they're having the same issue. So we had to call Cox. They had to come out and do something in there, and it took them a little bit while, and then we had to wait. And then everything got back on. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. This here, like I said, I know I may sound hyperbolic when I'm saying this. Right here, if they follow this through, if they support this, and if fans go out and get it as they have been, I can attest to that personally. This could be probably the most important moment in DC in about 2 decades. Yes, we've had New 52. Yes, we've had Infinite Crisis. Yes, we've had Rebirth and all that other absolute bullshit. This is a little bit different, and when you read it, you'll understand why it's different. If you have any longing, or if you are a fan of Elseworlds, or if you're a fan of metal, if you're a fan of anything that has not been the mainline DC universe, I think you're in for a treat here. Oh, geez. Hello, Music Man. Yeah. Like I said, I know a lot of people have, because, like I said, it was headed for a sellout even before it hit the shelves. I just didn't realize how, like I said, first day from a lot of different places. Yesterday I had to send people to competitors because I ran out, and then I went out and got some more this morning. Yeah, and remember what I say about Cinema Score. And not mostly, but Cinema Score, people use Cinema Score. Oh, it's got a B- on Cinema Score. Who gives a fuck about Cinema Score? And if you give a fuck about Cinema Score, why don't you just give Cinema Score your money? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're paying your money, or not giving money, for them to think for you. And some of the movies that they've given A's to should tell you that it's probably time to stop listening to those guys. Question number: were you able to bring? If you were able to bring one superhero into the real world, Superman. Like I said, Superman's virtually indestructible. How you doing? Virtually indestructible. His morals are what the world needs right now. Be honest with you, his leadership capabilities, and not only would he, his powers, but his ability, because there would be other groups of people that would form to help defend the Earth, and what better leader would you want to put on this Earth than him? So that would be me. Hello, what are you going to sleep so early on a Saturday night, man? What the hell's going on here? Hi, long time to see.
Well, he's got a few other comments here too. No, anytime, you're always welcome to Audia. DC All In special. Yeah, it's sold out before I get it, but they're going to do a second printing, so I'll probably get that next week.
Second printing with a lesser print run, which means the second printing is even going to be worth money. All right, DC All In special was really good. Great setup for the stories to come. Dark Side stuff was a bit confusing. It is, You may need to read it twice. I didn't, but I'm not. I mean, it the way the story flows, and here's what happens in this comic book. So, without spoiling it, because at the behest of a lot of people in there, I'm not going to do that. It's a two-sided book with two different stories that lead into each other. So if you read, you can start with either one. If you start with the normal this one, you eventually you things happen that get explained in this one, and it all makes sense to no matter which way you read it. But if you started out with this one, hey, what's up, Dennis? If you started out with this one, you need to get this too. Get this while I still have copies. It's really good. If you started out with this one, it is a bit more confusing because everything is explained to you and the why he's doing. If you've read, there's a lot of different stories that have kind of used the formula that of what he did and why he did it. That why is not 100% coherent yet, but what he does is, and I understood what he was doing, so it's hard to say it. Okay, so Darkseid is in search for something. There's like a disturbance in the force.
No.
So that's something.
Anti-life equation, of course.
Well, no. I don't fuck it up and tell you what it is. There's something that's bothering him. Something because of what happens in Absolute Power. If you read Absolute Power, everybody is cut off from everything else. And since Darkseid, and this is the part that confuses a lot of people, Darkseid is all. He's a constant, and being a constant, he is all multiversal. So a bit of his power and ability exists in all of existence, because there's only one of him. Yeah. So when that cutoff happened, all of his powers went into one being instead of them being spread across all of creation, and that causes some issues here, and that's one of the reasons why you have what you have at the end. He's looking for something, and he's building his miracle machine. That's real easy. I won't even. He's building his miracle machine, and it's this. The stories are the exact opposite of each other. You have the membership card that's happening in this part of the story, which is they're rebuilding the Justice League. They're at the Watchtower. Everything. Everybody's got these membership cards that go into one. And Darkseid is building a miracle machine that will give him one wish. That one wish is what sets this off. That sets this off. He's thinking it's not the old Darkseid. He's not, his old goal, his goals that he used to have, the anti-life, he's beyond that now. He's looking for something beyond this. And that's what drives him. And it's really cool the way they do it. So I could see where it might be confusing. There are, and as a matter of fact, your Forces of Solitude, those guys did a really good job explaining it in a little video. They did a little 16-minute video. As a matter of fact, in fact, for those of you who, if you don't want to be spoiled, then don't read this. But they are doing it. They did a really good job. Hold on. Up. Bam. I still recommend reading it because there's some dialogue and stuff in there, and the weight of the story, it's very well written, by the way. All right, I'm putting this in the chat. If you guys would like, if you want to spoil it for yourself, I would still read it first and then go read this, look at this, because this kind of puts a little bit of together. There are some things that you may not have read coming in. If you weren't reading all in Absolute Power, then you might have missed some of the things that what Waller did in that story is important. It's key to this. It's key to how this starts. But yeah, it opens up, if you read it from this end, it opens up with a bright, happy future. It's 52 days after the events of Absolute Power, and I have Absolute Power number 4 that came out at the same time, and it's just basically them reforming forming the Justice League, getting these membership cards. Believe it or not, a character I absolutely fucking detest actually plays a key and legit role in this, and for the first time in his existence, they found a way to make me give a shit about Booster Gold. And
I thought I was I thought you were gonna say
as
Bane.
I live and breathe, I didn't think that was ever possible. They do it here because there's something in here that only he of the group can do. There's something that is caused from this other side that only he can address. And without spoiling it, so he's useful. Took 35 years, but he's useful in this comic book. And it's not told from his point of view, but he's kind of like the one that they focus on because I think they let you know that once he goes in, you're going to see some very familiar characters in different ways in this. There's some surprise characters. Once Booster Gold does something and ends up somewhere else, you're going to be like, oh, shit. There's a couple of oh, shit moments in here I thought were really good. Let's see. Someone who's an expert. All right, bit confusing. Who's not in? Yeah, if you're not an expert of this lore, maybe. But here's the thing. And I saw this as I was reading it. It entices you to go out and get some of this stuff and not much of it. Really, you only need to hold on. I'll be right back.
Right. It's me here now, guys. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I definitely, definitely planning on diving in on it. But yeah, it flew off the shelves. They're already going to second printing. I'm sure we'll go into because William has been really been an advocate for DC All-In and in the Absolute Universe for quite some time on the show, as you've seen. So
okay,
we'll go all into that.
All right, so Absolute Power number 4. What happens in here? And this, by the way, this is an awesome variant cover. Looks like a whole album cover from like Courtney Love. But anyway, it's I would, if you can get your hands in this series, I'm out of 1 and 3, but I have 2 and 4 because they this whatever I had sitting on the shelf for the most part, from 1 through 3 was selling down today, and then these came out at the same time as All In special. So I would, to make it easier. So if you're going to invest in the storyline, first go and read Absolute Power 1 through 4. It makes it a lot easier because you realize that there's a catalyst incident that happens in there. Like I said, what Amanda Waller does at the beginning of this series makes something, like I said, what makes with Darkseid that it affects him because of all the beings, he's the only one that there's only one of in existence. So I would say reading Absolute Powers 1 through 4, especially number 4, will make it easier for you. But I think that if you may have to give it another read. I didn't have to. I'm an idiot, but then again, I'm also an uber geek. So, and I've been following the storyline since they announced it. So, but there's not a lot of ground you have to cover to get it. It's kind of self-explanatory if you know the catalyst events that happen. And like I said, you only have to get 4 issues to do that. If you read Absolute Power 1 through 4, you're there. Okay. And Joker 2 isn't nearly as bad as some people are trying to make it. Yeah, we're gonna get on what I would do with it. I could say, why am I shaking? Hold on, I gotta keep my hands off of there. I moved my computer around because I thought I was going through anything just to get the fucking internet to work. Anyway, Joker 2 isn't nearly as bad as some people are trying to make it out to be. It's not great. Probably not as good as the first film. It's not as good as the first film. But it's perfectly fun. The negative reaction. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And there people are putting in. Somebody came in today saying that's the worst movie of the year, and I'm like, okay, just the other night we listed off. I don't know if you were here, Brad. We listed off like 5 or 6 movies that were absolute shit stains of cinema this year, and those are bad movies. This movie is good. I don't agree with where they went with it. I absolutely do not agree with the decisions that were made, but that doesn't make a movie bad. My expectations are tied to where I would have liked to see it go, and I'll explain that later on. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. You can't call Joker 2 a bad. I'm sorry, you just can't. Joaquin Phoenix still makes me feel for him. Still makes me feel awful for where he's at in life. Lady Gaga, I wish she had more time. I think she could have blown things away. The dude from all the guards, I wanted to slap the shit out of those guards. They made you feel the emotions that you were supposed to feel. It's just where they went with the story. I wasn't on board with, and I think for me that hurt the movie. The musical notes, the fact that it was a musical, I think a lot of people didn't get over that. I didn't have a problem with the fact that it was a musical. I had a problem with the fact that the music didn't help the movie. It didn't kill the movie for me. And there are some instances where the intensity that was in Joker 1 was climbing. Musical notes just like, oh shit, bring in the clown type of stuff. And I'm like, and like I said, it made me think less of the music because of the disruption. But overall,
yeah, the musical,
people are just blowing smoke.
Yeah, the musical side of it is really kind of inconsequential to the overall movie. And yeah, there's some choices that we'll get into because we're going to do spoiler discussion. I'm trying to I said when I posted my initial thoughts, it's like I'm still kind of going back and forth on what I think about it. I mean, it's not it doesn't hit the level that the first one did.
That may be an all-time great movie, though.
Yeah.
Any movie that's nominated for best director, best whatever, and best actor and wins one, you're talking about a category that's going to be in a higher percentage. It was going to be hard to do that anyway. It's like Gladiator 2. I think Gladiator 2 is going to be great, just from what I've seen.
Yeah,
but to say it can outdoing one where it won all those Academy Awards and was robbed of one, that's a tough climb. So, but
the only thing I'm kind of like still kind of getting my head around is like why it's doing so bad commercially.
I explained last night because people don't think for themselves anymore. They let Rotten Tomatoes think for them. They let CinemaScore think for them. They let their random YouTuber think about it. I told you my opinion, but I always tell you when I tell you my opinion, that is for me. If I can recommend something to you, but you can go tell me to go take a flying leap. It's your money. It's your moment. It's your time. But we can't do that today because we're so connected in ways we shouldn't be sometimes, is that when some word of mouth from some people who know, do they have the same sensibilities of movie going as you do? I mean, I have my 3Ds and there are people who are like, oh, that's just too much. I'm like, that somebody's making a movie that fits what I like to see. And it's an individual experience. And that's why it's not doing well, is because people are looking at these scores, they're looking at these reviews, and they're just not thinking for themselves. And that's not just with Joker, by the way. This is something I've gone over and over and over with. This is why I'm not a big fan of critics. Nothing personal. I'm not a big fan of the influence that critics have on something that is so solitary as going to the movies. It's just it's sad to see that, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's going to end. People put too much trust in these things. You put too much trust in other people. I wonder if anybody else asked a question. What kind of movie do you want to see? Did you have a good time with it? Do you think you would have a good time with it? And if you're going to read these opinions and reviews, go see it and then read them after and see if there's something where you connected then. But at least you didn't rob yourself of the moment. I've done that shit. I told you before. I've missed out on them. I used to be one of those guys who put a lot of weight into these aggregates and these critics and then missed out on seeing movies that I should have seen in the cinema because of that. And I'm not going to do that anymore. And I implore people to stop doing that. But everybody's different. But that's my answer. That's my opinion of why it's not doing well. Okay, so to answer this question, this is I'm working on this right now. The biggest stumbling block with me that I was having a problem with was the payment processor had to be lined up through the website, and there are certain rules and things, and I couldn't get it to work. I definitely want to have this obviously before Christmas time, but I want this in place before then. But there's a hang up, there's a snag. There is actually a storefront page for the Sci-Fi Center, not the one you see when you go to the website, but the one that we're working on. Once we beta test it and we get it working and the payment processor is lined up, then you have to have like a refund and it's a whole bunch of things that you have to add to it. So once I get that going, and that's probably going to be within the next week, then we're going to start putting the entire store online. Now, when it comes to comic books, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one because there's only certain ones I'll be able to do because I can't sacrifice my walkthrough traffic. In the way the ordering and the pre-orders and the pre-solicitation, you got to be like a mega buyer in some cases to be able to do it that way, to have stock that is separate inventory for your storefront and your actual brick and mortar. And right now I don't have that kind of balance yet, but other stuff I am working on though. But trust me when I tell you, I'm always looking at new ways to make money. Listen, critics have the right to their opinion, and I'm not, and I can respect the critic's opinion. Here's the thing, and I'm not shitting on critics, but I'm just wondering, ask yourself, does that critic's opinion or anyone else's opinion apply to what you may or may not enjoy when you lay down your money for a movie? Me and Brad have different things that we want out of a movie. Brad's a kung fu guy. He'll go crazy over kung fu movies. I'm not that big a kung fu guy. If there's karate, kung fu, martial arts in it, yeah, great. We'll watch it. But I'm not, for me, there's a certain thing that I zero in on. And for him, you see, so me and him are going to have two different movie going experience. So when he gets excited about one type of movie, does his opinion matter to me that much? I can respect his opinion. And same thing with movies that I see. There's certain movies that he's already said, I'm not a big fan of so-and-so movies, right? I'm not a big fan of buffoonery. So movies like Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura, and movies that I would literally rather, drink out of the toilet than ever watch again. He likes those. That's his movie going experience. Me, I got a different one. So what's his opinion? What's my opinion about Ace Ventura going to mean to Brad? Absolutely nothing, and nor should it. See what I mean? That's the difference.
Spidey had a couple he wanted me to bring up with DC Olin. William, did you notice that the Dark Side art is homage to the art in the old Fourth World books, or am I looking at things the wrong way?
No, not only that. There's another artist that I think you might notice that I noticed. Rest in peace, Tim Tooth, Keith Giffen. I spotted, especially in the what he's talking about is the blocky, the bulky, the going back to the volume. I got my fingerprints all over this. This is going to end up being my copy because I've been opening and closing it all day. Oh, this is beautiful. It's okay. I'm going to hide that, but that's that. You get to see Wonder Woman in there.
Yeah.
The other part gives away some shit. I don't want to do that. Yeah, there's a bulky, scratchy artwork that there to it. Yes, I did see that, especially here, especially this. I'm gonna zoom in. There's a particular. Let's magnify me. All right, so when I saw this particular image of Darkseid, see that?
Yeah.
That reminded me of Kirby. Kirby's old design.
Yeah, I agree.
And it reminded me of Keith Giffen. I felt like I was reading Legion of Superheroes, late 80s, early 90s for a bit. And there's a lot of that feel in here for these books.
And Spidey's also got another one of that. William, also a great callback to the Great Darkness saga and the ending.
Yes. Yes, there is. There's a couple of callbacks to the Great Darkness saga throughout the whole thing. I need to get that trade paperback back in here, by the way. That's something that I really and like I said, this was everything I hoped for, because it's a great jumping on part, in that it begins a conversation with a guy like me. So if I got this, like I got a display set up, and you've been hearing about this a long time, and you've been a comic book fan, now you're hearing about this, and you're like, well, William, what is this? I can now start you in a direction that not only makes you understand this more and makes you enjoy it more, but there's other things about certain characters in here and certain storylines that they've kind of like pay homage to that they can start picking up now. But this is an excellent, as complicated as it might seem for people, I think this is still an excellent jumping on point for people who want to get into DC right now, because there's the event that happens in there lays everything to the point where we're all on equal footing. There's the event that this leads to at the last pages of this side. They're actually in the middle, because it flips. Puts all of us at ground zero. Now, there are going to be some things that I might need to explain a little bit more. If you're not a person that is gravitated towards Darkseid story, that's fine. I can clue you in. It's basic shit. It's basic stuff. And the Darkseid that is in here is not acting like the traditional Darkseid. There's something that he needs for his machine to work. And what he does to make it work both times is pretty fucked up. When you see Darkseid for the first time, you'll know what I mean in here. And when you see him later on in the book, you're like, oh shit, okay. he's on something else. This is something else. So yeah, I really enjoyed this.
We also got a super chat from Chappie. Watching Joker Follow You Do made me rewatch the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 director's cut. Sorry guys, film rules. I love how Rob Zombie made 100% his own, like Tavalos did Joker 2.
That's fine. Like I said, we just said that that movies are subjective. So I can't really knock you for that ridiculous opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be a hypocrite because, like I said, all movies are subjective. That was whatever you thought that movie was. That was your moment. I know we poke. I'm looking for something. I know we poke fun at Chappie because it's fun, but what he's describing is how he felt when he went to go see a movie. No critic should ever affect that for him. No critic like me saying that Rob Zombie's Halloween is absolute hot garbage should have zero effect on Chappie at all. It should have no effect at all on him because, like I said, he went to go see it. He enjoyed it. I just got to make sure that I'm not completely pixelated. Okay, cool. Hold on for a second.
You look good to me, man.
But I'm freezing on my end. Be right back. Yeah, I'm frozen on my StreamYard screen. I'll be right back. Give me a couple seconds.
Okay. Yeah, how's it going? How's it going, Max? Let's see what else you guys got while we're not William. Let's see. Antonio, my issue with today's critics is they act like they can make movies, and some of these people are filler writers who tend to be movie or TV writers and they become critics. I mean, so I mean, I usually tell when like somebody's bitterness is kind of coming through in the in their critique of something else, and I try not to cast the net too wide on that, but I mean, sometimes you can kind of sense that, and when people are like really tearing something apart. I think that's kind of like a little bit of a DC comics kind of a slogan anyway, all in, and I think that might be a little bit of a William question too. And by the way, I saw what you said earlier, Aaron, about you had some high winds and some power outages. So yeah, I know what that feels like these last couple of days. Yeah, you're good now. Here's Aaron's question about why they call a comic all in.
Oh, it's an old expression that goes back. They've used this at a couple of different instances. Scott Steiner actually explains. Some echoing. This is driving me nuts. My screen is showing me frozen again, but I can. Is the sound coming through right, or is it?
Yeah, you're all good, man.
What the fuck, dude? All right, fuck it. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, everybody's saying you look good, man.
Okay, fine. It's just I can't see me. I cannot see myself on this end. I can hear me, but I'm doing this. But let me see what you got here. Uncanny X-Men. This is really good. This is really good.
Fine,
Did you get number 2?
Clearer than normal.
I have not yet.
Number 2.
By the way, a Williams customer, please buy all the Doomsday comics you can in there tonight. And also go down to Sister Cam's. I hear their burgers are really good. I can see those. You guys got more. Wait, no. William to come back. Not big news. Yeah, not too. Well, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not really like a fan or not a fan. It's like it's kind of like musicals are kind of thing where it's like they work for me if I'm in the right mood for them. Is kind of the best way to put it. Like I did really enjoy The Greatest Showman recently. It's probably the most recent musical that I really dug. And the thing about it is too is like if for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, the musical aspect of Joker 2, I don't know if I necessarily properly call this movie a musical, because even though it has musical numbers, again, the way it's sort of interwoven with the Arthur Fleck's mental illness, it's sort of it's it's not a musical in the same way most musicals are. Maybe it's the best way to describe it. But again, yeah, it's about as far as I can go with it without spoiling it or anybody actually seeing the movie. Yeah. Oh, this is blasphemy for me, Chuck Cage. So I'm a massive John Wick fan. A massive John Wick fan. It's like, no, go. You're out of here. Can't. No, man. You gotta pick up on that, man. I'm kidding with you. I haven't seen John Wick 3 or 4. Yeah, no, man. I love John Wick. I love that series. I love when they're going to be doing a re-release of the original. It's a Fathom event next month. To commemorate the 10-year anniversary of when it started. So I'm definitely gonna be doing that. Yeah, I'm a huge John Wick fan.
I don't know if he took it or not. Okay. All right. Go ahead and grab mine. Okay. I got all the J. Scott Campbell covers up here. I'm getting them to autograph that. So this is good. So you got X-Men's 1, 2, 3, Wolverine Revenge. Did you get number 1?
Yes.
Okay, cool. 1, all in special. And did you get Absolute Power number 4?
Not yet.
Which one do you want?
Both of those.
Okay.
I usually stay quiet during these parts when we have a side by side transaction, going on while we're live.
No, you can talk.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, let's see what everybody else is saying in the chat here. The musical of that Flash episode is all right because all the people. I remember there was actually. Yeah, that kind of reminded me too. When it was there was an episode of Power Rangers when I was a kid where it was Tommy and I think it was Aisha. They got hit with a spell that were like they could only communicate through song. So kind of a similar thing happened on the Flash. So that's an interesting gimmick. To kind of curse characters can only
Wolverine's X-Ray.
Oh yeah. I immediately knew about it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, again, as I've said, Antonio, it's like it's not humanly possible to not love Keanu. Everybody loves Keanu. Chappie says my favorite musicals are La La Land, South Park, Bigger and Uncut, and Mamma Mia. Oh, Mamma Mia! Even here with Pierce Brosnan's wonderful singing. Let's see. You gotta cut some people some slack. He went for it.
This is already in second print.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab the second prints too. Absolute. I actually will be.
That's my favorite franchise is John Wick, and I'm taking off work next month for the. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely planning on seeing the Fathom event release myself. Really, really looking forward to it. I just love the series. I think by now everybody knows well enough though. It's this series really is it's kind of made for me. The action and the martial arts and the stunts and the gun fu and the ensemble of all my boys in it.
One of these. Okay, so 65 even. You and another guy come in. He'll see me take a picture of J. Scott Campbell, and he'll come in and get it. So now I start ordering multiples because I'm sending them to him to get autographs because he has those. You can order his stuff and it comes to you autographed. It's like $30 though. Cards 760.
Aaron says, I love the Star Trek musical, but the Grey's Anatomy musical episode is so cringe. I never watched Grey's Anatomy, so I couldn't really tell you on that. I'm trying to think what's I think what's a musical I really or like a something that put a musical spin on its franchise. Yes, Aaron, we do. Yes, Aaron, we do. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? A musical of the Raid. Yes. Marvel's had Disney Princess Planet. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and the Marvels I actually thought was a little bit of a a step up because I did not like the first one, the Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, it's interesting to have this conversation while Joker 2 is bombing, while the first one did so well, because Captain Marvel also did $1 billion, and then its sequel didn't do well at all. Because Joker, I think you kind of look at a lot of the elements that sort of combined with it. It's a lot easier to kind of attribute why it became such a cultural phenomenon. It's a Captain Marvel to this day. I have no clue how that movie did $1 billion. That other than the fact that it was a lead into Endgame. That I am more convinced than ever after after the Marvels. It's like that is the reason it did $1 billion. Because I mean, you watch the first Captain Marvel. I mean, that it is blander than toast. It is so forgettable.
You want to see No Evil? Speak No Evil poster, but you're not a poster guy, though, right?
Yeah. Okay, one's still doing a sale, so. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of I'm also kind of wondering. It's like, I mean, this might be a sign of the times too, really. I mean, because we have, in a couple of years, we've had sequels to $1 billion hits that are now not doing well.
See you again. I know, man. It's gonna put you on a milk carton. I'm like, all right, see you later, Dennis. All right, man.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Cool. Yeah, I muted you for a second there. We were talking about a few things about musicals, things like that. Vince. No, Vince, no. I was talking a little bit. I guess maybe do you want to just go all jump into the whole talk about Joker 2?
Yeah,
because one thing I was kind of pondering talking about is I think if you look back on the first one, it's really easy to see. The first one had like such a confluence of elements, both internal and external, that really sort of led to becoming the success that it was. So I'm kidding. I didn't think of necessarily lightning strike twice on this as far as like hitting that kind of mark financially, but I'm still I'm really surprised it's doing as bad as it is. And part of it, I think also, I mean, this might be a little bit of a sign of the times, because we talked a little bit about in the 5 years since the first one, and we've seen other things, like I mentioned Captain Marvel, going to the Marvels, and the first one compared to the sequel, that's had a similar downturn. So part of it might also be just the the post-COVID world and the rise of streaming and the changing of the theatrical landscape. I mean, that may have played a role in the commercial downturn. But yeah, I'm still kind of at a loss. Or it's like even if we're talking about like it underperforms the predecessor, it's the fact that it's doing so by such a large margin really is not something I saw coming. So I don't know. You have any theories on like why it's doing why it's underperforming so much compared to the first one?
a lot. Like I said, a lot of it is because of we've gotten into that culture of letting people tell us, what to watch, what to go see. I'll be right back. I got another customer. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Let's see what you guys got. The Music Man says be back in a few. Got stuff to handle. Work on it. Don't want. Okay. All right. We'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping. Just like most of the. Are you talking about Captain Marvel with the MCU? I mean, no, the MCU's. I mean, it's definitely had. Yeah, kind of like what Williams said. It's like they've done as well as they have because they really know how to market and they really know how to ride the wave of like we've teased what's coming next, and that almost kind of overtakes a lot of like the movie itself, the latest installment of the franchise itself. And I think Captain Marvel's is very much a prime example of that, where it's again the movie itself, it's like it just is not. It's just so forgettable. It's so bland. It's so. I think Brie Larson was completely miscast in the role. But
the character that they wrote for her wasn't good either. So.
Yeah. But again, it was great marketing because it's like they tease her at the end of Infinity War, and it came out like 5 weeks pre Endgame, and even that's like I remember like seeing a lot of the reactions. Or the early responses from people who'd seen early screens of Captain Marvel saying there was like a hashtag like Thanos is fucked going around after that, and then you watch Endgame, she's barely in the movie, but again,
she does when she arrives, she does considerable damage though.
But again, it's the Captain Marvel benefited from that. It's placement. It's like how whatever our individual opinion of it is. Again, that didn't matter because the marketing strategy behind it was so good. And that's But
hey, listen, Captain Marvel didn't suck for some people. I got people to this day that defend that movie. Okay, I don't. I thought it was lost potential. You tell me that you're going to do a movie set in the '90s, and and then you give me a bland. The most blandest part about the '90s, like Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah,
I know both the '80s and the '90s.
If you gave me a choice between which one to watch again, I'm watching '84 again in a heartbeat.
All right. So here's the thing about Joker. I would have. But
this is going to be spoiler heavy, by the way, guys.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and. Right now, we're going to talk about spoilers, or we're going to talk spoilers, because it's really hard not to go. It's been a couple of days. I guess anybody who is going to go see it, you probably already have seen it, or you're going to wait till screaming. And if you're going to wait till if you're going to wait till streaming, I can't really help you.
Sounds like a lot of people might be doing that.
Yeah, so if you're gonna wait till streaming, then just this is the part of the show where you might want to just turn off. The only parts about in Arkham or in prison that I would have been the beginning of the movie. His story evolved beyond that kind of treatment after the first one. Arkham is just a setting where I would have started the movie. I would not have kept him there. I think that his character, needed to be out in the streets. He needed to be. We know he has mental issues. They established that in the first movie. I didn't need the second movie to be about all that. Now, was it done well? Yeah, it was done well, but that's just not where I was at with the character. That took me out of it. Now, what I would have done is, like I said, now we go from him being crazy to being a crazy criminal, making connections, making chaos, his brand of crime versus a common thug's, what drives him to commit crimes versus what drives a hood to commit crimes. I would have put on that. I would have had, if I had Harvey Dent in there at all, which I didn't need him in this movie.
Yeah, he felt surprisingly inconsequential to the story.
He's part of law enforcement. I would have had a Gordon, or a Detective Gordon, or somebody that was the yin to his yang. That was the opposite of what he was supposed to be. He's chaos, and the police and law enforcement would have been order. And I would have had his psyche escalate beyond that, because the problem with this movie is it really is contained. It's contained in one, basically the courtroom and Arkham. And it never goes beyond establishing that we know he's crazy. And by the way, there's a scene in there where the little guy that he didn't kill when he killed the older guy back in Joker 1, he's up on the witness stand testifying. And that guy says, you know what, that's why this hurts so much, Arthur, because you were the only one that were nice to me. And then you went on and, killed, all these people. And now I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe here in this courtroom. And then that's what turns Arthur to the point, where he gives up on being the Joker. He's like, it's just an act. I'm really not. That's bullshit to me, because that's not consistent with the road you started this on. And you don't go back once you kill 5 people in the manner that the escalation with the Joker, and that's the whole point of the Joker, is the escalation keeps going until someone stops him, whether it's law enforcement or Batman. He doesn't go back. Even if he self-reflects like in the Killing Joke, he's still killing. Even when Joker is having a deep introspective moment, he's still killing. Now, even if this is Todd Phillips' Joker and you can't necessarily, compare it to anything else, I'm going by the rules that Todd Phillips created. Todd Phillips created this escalation to where the killing in the first movie was the breaking point. It is the point of no return. So that whole scene lost me a little bit because I'm like, why would he do that? You know what I mean? Why would he why would he have any? He is mentally beyond the point of remorse for these people. When he killed those people, they were systematic acts. And his whatever is causing him, whatever psychosis he is now in, that is not something that he can reason. And that's the thing. He reasoned his way back into being Arthur. And I'm like, no, you're fucking crazy. You've killed 6 people. You are what you have become. There's no little guy's going to be like, well, don't you feel bad about it? No. I feel bad. If I felt bad, those people would be alive. People who kill on that level don't go back. Accidentally killing one person, but when you kill over and over again, you don't go back, and that's
you kill on national television.
Yeah, that was a crossing point for him. That was a major development in his character, and I feel like this movie undeveloped that. So I had a problem with that. So the escalation, and I didn't mind having music in there, but the point where I would not have had the music in places where it de-escalated the intensity. Because that's the one thing that Joker 1 had for it in spades, is that tension. That tension was always there, even to the point where he blew Murray's brains out. That escalated to that point. Everything in this movie that it got to a point that it was like that was going to get de-escalated by song. I thought that he needed to get out there. He needed to escape our Arkham. The guards, they were great, for what they were, but I would have had them kill all those motherfuckers. I would have had him leave a blood trail, and I would have him, at that ending, the ending, by the way, we'll get to that. I wouldn't have even minded that ending if you would have had other things in between that led up to that ending. But he lives, breathes, and dies in Arkham Asylum, that entire movie.
Yeah, either that or the courtroom.
Yeah, other than the courtroom, which is like down the street. And the bomb explosion at the end, they never tell you who it's supposed to be, but I'm assuming that was her. That was Lady Gaga's character. That was Harley Quinn.
No, it was those 2 guys that put him in the car.
You look at those 2 guys. Those 2 guys could barely start their car.
But they're saying in the car, it's like, the plan worked. We got him.
I missed that. That's a problem because they were too fucking dumb.
I agree. Those guys are not.
Those guys would have blown themselves up before. Yeah.
I
like the reality in my mind better that it was her. Like I said, it just the evolution. When I first saw the first Joker, I knew halfway through that there needed to be a sequel made, and I still believe that. It just didn't need to go in this direction. It needed to escalate. Establishing his mindset was Joker 1. Joker 2 is now the chaos that he spreads about Gotham. That's what I needed to see, and I didn't see that. I just like Matt Reeves has done. Gotham in this movie is a character that I think was taken out of it. I would have had a lot more Gotham. I would have had him interacting with police. I would have had him. If you ever seen the movie Heat, where Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are sitting at the coffee shop having that conversation, I wanted a moment like that with his Commissioner Gordon or his Harvey Dent. Because as an assistant DA, Harvey Dent is law enforcement. He would be right along with the cops and trying to stop him because he's going to charge him. But there's just so much there and nothing that they introduced was bad. It's just what they did with it. It's just not where I would have gone.
Well, Aaron thinks, this is they shouldn't have made it kind of thing.
No. This is I disagree. And what I'm a proponent of. If the concept is stupid, don't make the movie. This concept wasn't stupid. They should have made this movie. My opinion is that they should have made the movie. They should have gone forward instead of reevaluating and re-exploring. See, I always say people who say, "Well, we don't need to make sequels." I always laugh at that. I'm like, and I always say, if there's a story to tell, continue to tell your story for as long as you can. There was a story to tell here. They just didn't tell the story. So. The only time I say you shouldn't make it is when you're talking about like Shazam, things like that, where you don't have a strategy, you don't have a story, you're making it, for other reasons. This right here, there was a story to tell. Todd Phillips just didn't want to tell it.
Yeah,
I questioned the decision of. I know he was the big deal, but he made the movie to wrap it up. he didn't make a movie to build on the story that he originally did, and that's where I kind of diverge with him on that.
Yeah,
one.
I've seen a lot of commentary. People kind of liken this either to like Dark Knight Rises or The Matrix Resurrections, where it's kind of where you can see where like the director's heart isn't in it, but
Okay.
where particularly Matrix Resurrections, where it's like the movie, through like thematically in a lot of ways, the movie itself kind of calls into question its own need to exist.
Here's the thing, though. Well, this is not that case. I will have to respectfully disagree. Matrix Resurrection was absolute trash for that reason. For a lot of reasons, Matrix Resurrection is absolute hot garbage. That was one of the reasons. They pretty much shoehorned them into doing a movie they didn't want to do. That's not the case here, in my opinion. It's almost a Todd McFarlane. Todd Phillips does not mail this in. He does the movie he wants to do. I just don't agree with the movie he did. That's all. Those other movies, those people pretty much got guns held to their heads and said, do this or we're going to make it and we're going to blemish your thing. No, they gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted to do. This is the movie he wanted. Once he made it, I just, wish that I'd be like, okay, if the studios, if this is not the direction the studio wanted to go in with this character, but they stepped away with it, because they set the stages for, for a Joker 3. I mean, everything in there sets up for Joker 3, especially the ending. The ending sets it up for, for as many as you wanted to do, if you want to do it that way. Like I said, I think Todd Phillips made the movie he wanted to make, whereas in Matrix, that you could clearly tell that they were just going through the motions. I don't feel that I know what he said afterwards, but he was not hindered in this film. They hindered them in, the Matrix in the film by, he said yes. And once he said yes, they DC stepped away, or Warner Brothers stepped away. One of the few cases where they did not interfere, and DC Studios had nothing to do with it. So this movie is what Todd Phillips wanted it to be.
Which by the way, kind of a quick sort of sidebar, and this sort of gets in a little bit of the commentary you've made on it, as far as like the role of like James Gunn and DC Studios and the relationship with Warner Brothers, where he has been quoted as saying it's like, yeah, we this was a Warner Brothers movie, not a DC. And so I've seen people kind of take that quote and say, oh, so in effect they're saying it's like, okay, so DC movies can be made outside the parameters of DC Studios.
In his defense, he never said they couldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
We've said that. Fans have said that. Zazoff may have hinted, but I don't think from one day to another, Zazoff's mind changes. In James Gunn's defense, he has never said anything like that. I think a lot of people have put that in, I wish he would communicate more and eliminate that, but it is what it is. He has never said that other movies from other filmmakers will be excluded. He's never said that. Whether you believe that to be the case or not, James Gunn has not said that yet.
That DC productions can only henceforth be made under DC Studios. Is not what he has never said that. Yes.
Yeah, and he's never said that. And even things that are connected with DC Studios, there's his universe, and then there's things that happen because the Matt Reeves Batman universe, I don't think is going anywhere. And I think Matt Reeves is starting to warm up to doing this. And I think the Penguin is helping that, because that's just, when you make something that good and people like it as a creator, you're like, let's keep going, So, and I don't see James Gunn saying anything, having an issue with that. Yeah. His thing is going to be his thing. Obviously they will consult with each other, but Matt Reeves is a premier top tier filmmaker. He's at the level of James Gunn as far as movie making talent goes. Yeah. Some people might say beyond. That's a perspective opinion, but so in his defense, he never has said that. And I seen the tweet of, oh, now you're taking credit for this, taking credit for that. And I'm like, at this point, he's the head of DC Studios. He should be supporting everything that goes on. That doesn't mean that he's going to be the guy. And I said that for his own benefit. For his own benefit, it should be that way, because not every story is going to be what comes from the DCU. See, here's the thing. There's DC Studios, right? But that DC Studios is not the whole. Under that, you have the DCU, which is the universe that he's starting it with. But wherever universe you want to call Matt Reeves and stuff, is still under this DC Studios. Anything that happens can still be under DC Studios. But he needs to leave things open, in my opinion, so that other creators that are at the level or higher than Matt Reeves will come and want to be part of it without saying, well, my movie doesn't fit. I mean, the story I'm telling doesn't fit in your thing. And to be honest with you, if you're James Gunn, as a head of a studio, you want to make that money too, but this doesn't fit with your thing. If you got a guy like a Matt Reeves or a Denis Villeneuve, somebody like that, you just let them do their thing.
Well, because again, that plays in like other things we talked about, with DC on here, and I just thought I'd touch upon that real quick with as where this relates to Joker too. But kind of go back to the movie itself now. We got a couple comments here, kind of pertaining to that. Aaron says Matrix Resurrection is a money grab. Yeah, I think.
Okay, Aaron, all movies are money grabs.
Yeah.
This is just a bad.
Well, again, it's like it's definitely from Warner Brothers' perspective, and then again, Lana Wachowski just kind of like took that and said, okay, I mean, I'm gonna make a movie about the fact that this movie is a money grab.
In which case they should have. I don't even know why they even asked her to do it. Once you get the feeling that somebody's heart's not going to be in it, all they did is waste everybody's time. Once she said no, then that's it. If you want to make the movie, then you go get somebody else. If you think that person was a huge part of that movie, then you have a decision to make of not making that movie. B, that's reason letter B that movie should have never been made. First of all, it's not 1998. It's not 2002, and it's not 2003. I was on the Vox stream last night with people who were saying that movie was a masterpiece. Yeah, it's a piece, all right. It's a piece of shit. And it should have never been made because
I was on the Vox stream last night.
you have to look around you and look at the world that you're planning these movies in. And they did that in 1999. And that's why The Matrix works. That's why that trilogy works. It doesn't work 20 years later. It just doesn't. It doesn't, like I said, when you got a 14-year-old that has better tech in their phone than the entirety of the Matrix trilogy, we're not wowed by this shit anymore. Bullet cam was new to us. The technology was new to us. Using a fucking telephone booth to travel into another world was new to us. Now that's old hat. Shows that get canceled and we never hear of use these premises. So there's only so much blood you can get out of that turnip. And I think that was a bridge too far. Maybe, if we're in a different society 20, 30 years from now, but that's not a movie. That's a cash grab without a plan, without thinking. Because there are so many signs that said don't make Matrix Resurrections, and they still did it. I'm surprised Keanu Reeves took it because he doesn't. I mean, he has other movies. He's not hurting for money. I know the character meant something to him, but if he doesn't do it, then that would have forced their hand. Carry on, Moss. There's a lot of people who say, you know what, you're just not going to do it. Hugo Weaving told him to go fuck off.
Lawrence Fishburne, did too.
So so like I said, decisions.
Vince also says it's kind of weird seeing Todd Phillips use kind of movies for Road Trip or The Hangover. Yeah, I remember kind of thinking that at the time when he did the first Joker. It's like, this is the Hangover guy doing like a Joker movie now. He wasn't who I would have immediately pegged for it, but
see, and that's the difference between us and movie makers, because they can see things we will never see, like Jonathan Demme. I always bring up Jonathan Demme. Jonathan Demme did Married to the Mob. That guy did probably one of the greatest thrillers of all time in Silence of the Lamb. The same guy who did Married to the Mob did Silence of the Lamb, because somebody who's a professional at this can see the ability of these people to do these things. There's a lot of guys that are like James Gunn. There's a lot of guys out there that do slapstick and stuff like comedy like that, but they were, that is what they're being called on to do. So they do it. But that doesn't mean the guy who did Dumb and Dumber can't actually write an actual movie that doesn't suck. That was what was asked of him. That guy can make. Who am I to say that guy couldn't make a serial killer movie, a top tier serial killer movie? I don't know, because they're not getting those jobs. They're not getting that opportunity. Jonathan Demme did. Todd Phillips did. Joker was always inside of Todd Phillips. He was just never tasked to do it. So it's good that he was able to get that chance. And like I said, I just wish he would have taken a different attitude towards this movie, because I think it could have been a masterpiece.
Yeah, well, kind of going back to Joker, you kind of give my thought.
What's his face is somebody? Who keeps asking me to read their comment? Is that Hunter? I didn't see your comment, Hunter.
Can you type it again, Hunter?
Hold on, I'm scrolling up to see if I can find it.
Well, anyway, kind of going to my again. I'm still kind of getting my thoughts together on it, kind of where I stand. I mean, it's not the train wreck that it's being portrayed as, but yeah, it goes in directions where I feel like it's kind of like I like what you're saying, Ritzley. The idea of like he Arthur Fleck, he says at the end, okay, there is no Joker. This is all just me, and the fact that he's the way the first movie sets him up and portrays him, the idea is it portrays he's really too far gone for that argument to like narratively sync up with like what is established in the first movie. Because again, it's like you go on national television and clown makeup and shoot a guy, and
I feel bad now. Maybe I'm not. No, you're the fucking Joker. Once De Niro's brains splatter all over that desk, you're the Joker.
Yeah.
There is no Arthur. Arthur, when you killed Murray, you killed Arthur Fleck. And that's what the second movie should have been like. Stop calling me Arthur. And he should be shooting people. He should be killing people for calling him Arthur. For no other reason. What'd you call me? Arthur. That's your name. It's bam. Because when he kills Murray, that's the turning point in the movie. That is
like Arthur.
Call me sequel right there.
And that's like, I mean, that's the kind of event where it's like you hear a line where where you would hear a line of the nature of like Arthur Fleck is dead, I'm the Joker. That's where you would expect to hear something along those lines. As far as like his personality shift. And it's also got a lot of commentary too about the idea that the movie is like. And I'm curious about your thoughts on this, William. The idea that the movie is like almost like taking like it's taking almost like a contemptuous sort of attitude towards its own fans, with like the idea that that Arthur, he's rejecting the Joker persona, even as he's kind of accrued this following in Gotham City, and a lot of people like read that as like this is Todd Phillips saying that to the Joker audience.
I think those people have issues.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. Well, I think a lot of people saying that too had issues with the first movie and have issues with the fact that it did so well. So
yeah, if you have to go to, in my opinion, long and deep to come to that conclusion. That is just where he took the story. I don't think Todd Phillips is. Everybody thinks that the directors, everybody's trying to like say some message to them that's not overt. I don't think so. I just think that's where he took the story. I like that aspect of it, where his fans and his crazy fans, I wanted that to be built on. I wanted those minions, like the guy who, they were the ones that planted the bomb. I wanted those guys to be his henchmen for the whole movie. I wanted him to become a cult of personality. And then if you wanted to go, so the way the movie wraps up is, okay, so we still got the spoiler thing.
Yeah.
The way the movie wraps up is, he's in prison. He's found guilty. All this other stuff. The courtroom blowing up. All this other shit. We'll get back to that. But somebody else is quoting him from when he kills Murray.
And he tells the Joker, says, "You get what you fucking deserve," and then he shanks him in prison.
Yeah. And then what does he do next, Brad?
He carves the Glasgow grin. The guy who stabbed him carves the Glasgow grin in his face while he's laughing about it.
Yeah, and then I have people like, well, that leads right to Dark Knight. No, it doesn't. There are plenty of other interpretations with the Joker. I have comic books on my shelf as we speak that have the carved-in mask, that are carved-in face that that have nothing to do the Dark Knight. So
yes, we are, Music Man. We are absolutely doing spoilers right now. So if you don't want to hear them, you might want to step back out.
All right, I have the spoiler banner on. Yeah, guys, if you guys are haven't seen the Joker yet or don't want to be spoiled. Wait till the spoiler banner is off and then come back in. But it's been a couple of days. That's driving me crazy. Hold on.
And by the way, William, it's like I will say also, because we were talking earlier about when he's sentenced in the courtroom, and he's found guilty. The whole insanity plea that could be because he fires his lawyer, he represents himself, and then he says he rejects the Joker identity, and says, "Yeah, I just did this on my own. This is Arthur Fleck, responsible for my own actions." Then he's sentenced, and then there's a car bomb that goes off outside the courtroom and it blows up this wall, the wall outside the courtroom, and kills. It does this to Harvey Dent's face. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They left it open for other interpretations. Like, hey, that Joker, whoever,
Yeah.
if that's the real Joker, if you're gonna say, well, Arthur Fleck was never the Joker and he
Was
rejected the Joker, well, the guy who just killed him fully embraced it. So there you
yeah.
go.
But then so Arthur kind of wanders out there disoriented, and these two guys, yeah, I guess you might have missed this dialogue where they put him in the car. The one guy dressed in the clown makeup, and the other guy has the mask on. And so, okay, wait, we got him. We busted him out. And William's thinking like, oh yeah, those two guys, they would have blown themselves up.
Yeah, they would have blown themselves up. Sorry, I couldn't have the spot empty while I'm looking at it on camera. There you go.
Which, yeah, I agree. Those guys are like, those are not pyrotechnics experts.
Yeah, I'm like, those two guys. I mean, they no. So yeah, that's why I missed it, because I'm like, no, I thought it was her.
Well, also it has that, the soundtrack does that thing where it's got kind of like the white noise going, and their voices are a little bit more muted, so it might have been a little bit easier to miss that. But yeah, I caught them saying it's like, okay, mission accomplished, we got him, let's get him out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I like I said, once again, there is a difference. There is a difference in me disagreeing where he took the movie and me thinking he made a bad movie. And I don't think a lot of people who are making that distinction, and it's hurting the movie's outcome. Like, if I come out and tell you I disagree with you where you went with the story, listen, I say the same thing about 10 Cloverfield Lane and Us and anything Jordan Peele does. I don't like Us was a great movie. Nope had the potential to be even better. I think they fucked up the endings of both of those movies. Other people like them. So is Us a bad movie? No. I don't agree with where it went, but I think that's where people, when they're saying this, they're not, they're so ready to jump on it, that they don't really distinguish what is a bad movie. We've seen bad movies. We've seen bad movies in 2024. This is not a bad movie. This is not a bad movie. On a technical level, there's no way in hell you can watch this and call that a bad movie. You can't watch Joaquin Phoenix's performance. And even though I disagree with what they did with the character, he played his role exquisitely. The guards, I wanted those guards. I was hoping those guards would get their asses kicked. They never did. They played a great part. Everybody that was in the movie did. It was a top tier. Yeah, and the guy from the Banshee of Inisherin, which a movie that I got 15 minutes in and said, "Fuck no."
Those guards,
that guy was the Gleason guy. Gleason was his name. So
yeah, and those guards. There's one scene in particular where it's like, oh, these guards really deserves. They need to get what they fucking deserve.
Yeah, I mean, they're killing people. They're doing the whole Shawshank thing, And like I said,
no, but with the part with Arthur, because we could get the implied.
Oh, we know. Well, yeah. It's a Tool song, so there you go. But yeah, I like I said, I just didn't like where the movie went. But the quality of the movie is not a 38%. People, like I said, and this is where I'm going to use this movie for my own means, is like letting you know other people have different opinions than you. Don't let them think for you when it comes to these things. That's all I want to go with. So.
So yeah, I'm probably still going to get getting my thoughts together on this for a little bit here, but
hold on.
Go ahead.
Does this okay? That's going to be in the eye of the beholder, though, because the story wasn't a bad story, in my opinion. It just wasn't what I disagreed with the story. The story was good. It's just not where I would have taken the character and in the stories. So no, I mean the movie had a good story. It's not what I would have done with the character. Like I said, that's what I mean. You got to distinguish something. And yes, those other aspects do make up for it, because I can love those other aspects of the movie, even if I didn't like what the story was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So kind of wrapping up my thoughts. I'm probably still going to be getting my overall thoughts, because this is one I felt like I needed a room. Kind of like the first one. The first one I still had to sit with for a little bit before I really kind of coalesced my thoughts around. The first one, like I said, it's like it is the better of the two. This one I'll be thinking I'm probably going to land kind of where you did, where you landed like a high 6 or a 7. So that's probably where I'll land on it, or like thereabouts. And there are narrative and character choices in it that I don't feel sync up with the first one. But again, it's not just the car crash that's really being portrayed as.
Yeah, I think I just think the art of trashing a movie has become the thing now. So it's quite sad. Hey, if you're one of the many that are watching on Twitter right now,
right back.
Let me go ahead and change my background so that you guys can come on over and watch us on YouTube. I appreciate you watching us from any platform, but like I said, the channel grows through what happens on YouTube. So here we go. All right, so I think we're done talking Joker spoilers, so I'll take this banner down. All right, there you go. So if you are watching us right now from any other platform other than whether it be Twitch, whether it be Twitter, come on over to YouTube. That's how the channel grows. That's how we've added so much over the last year and a half is through YouTube, monetization, everything. Any support the channel gets to. I know there's other ways to make to do it on X and other formats. This is the most accessible format for us. So please, if you are watching, come over, like, subscribe, share, do all that, ring the bell, the whole thing. Maybe. All right, fourth, jeez. Yeah, there you go. I think if Clint was here, he would have understood as well. But we need to make more vertical shorts. It's done great for my channel, and I know that how Junkman reacted to reach 40K subs. Yeah, we should. I'm trying, but it's kind of busy. All right. What else is on my fucking thumbnail? All right, so we talked. The last thing that was on the thumbnail that we did not talk about is going to be for my wrestling buddies out there. I usually start the show off with my wrestling, but I was having internet issues, so sorry, guys. All right, Bad Blood was not a very good pay-per-view, but it's not even pay-per-view, so it's a paid live event. So there you go. All right, so let's see, Bad Blood. What's gonna do? Sorry, non-wrestling fans. This is a wrestling. I'm a wrestling geek, so. All right. So there we go. All right, Bad Blood. Let's go ahead and read through the matches. Because, like I said, one of them came on while we were doing our watch along. Let's see. CM Punk defeated Drew McIntyre in a match that I didn't think either man was into, and one of them did not belong into. That was a Hell in a Cell match. First time that I can remember, maybe I'm off a little bit, that a Hell in a Cell match started off a show. There you go. Nia Jax defeated Bayley by pinfall. They did the whole Tiffany Stratton running in with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then they had what's her face? I forgot her name. She came in and interfered in the match. Let's see. That match sucked. Damian Priest defeated Finn Balor. That match was boring. Rhea Ripley defeated Liv Morgan with Dirty Dom in the shark cage. The match was decent for what it was. What's her face entered in? Who is that girl's name? She's been injured for a while. Hold on, I'll bring it up. Let's see, Timothy Priestley. Raquel Rodriguez came in and got her disqualified, so they're going to have a feud there. Once again, all right, it was good for a Raw, but not something I would take time out of. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeated the Bloodline with Jacob up to. Jey Uso came back and helped him out. Helped him get the distraction. But the big news there was The Rock came out and came halfway down the steps while, because Cody was in the ring after making the save because, the Bloodline cheats and they want to beat you down afterwards. The Rock came out and walked halfway down the runway. And so that's basically setting up something to where which side is he going to choose? And that'll probably lead into Survivor Series. Very lackluster. They're starting to treat these paid live events like things that are the quarter of what a pay-per-view would have been. If I'd have paid $49 or $50 for that, I would have been very upset. But they also make them short too. So there you go. Damian Bale didn't need to be. No, I didn't. Most of this, in fact, there's not a match on this card, to be 100% honest with you, that could have not just been on a good episode of Raw, especially with 3 hours of television. So yeah, Gunther wasn't even defending, but he came out there and played around with Bill Goldberg, and so yeah, that was Bill. They had a bunch of Hall of Famers in the audience because they were in Atlanta. Like I said, not really. Yeah. This was short because I just don't think they want to do them anymore. I know they do the ones in Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia pays them a shitload of money, but I don't know. I don't know which side the Rock will be. It'll be interesting though. Yeah, Goldberg. I'm surprised Goldberg was in the building because he's been getting a lot of heat from WWE management because he's been talking all kinds of stuff, saying, "Oh, we never got my retirement match and they owe me this kind of ending and all that." And I'm like, "Okay, buddy." Oh yeah. Holy shit. Baseball was not on the thumbnail, but wow, this game was intense, man. Dodgers went down 3-0. Yamamoto came out there. He gave up 3 runs. And I can't really knock him because the Padres, other than, they're a World Series capable winning team. And the hitters that got the runs they're all all-stars. Some of them are future Hall of Famers. So he settled down, and but they were only going to keep Yamamoto out there for a few innings anyway. He only lasted like 3 or 4 innings. Neither starter went to 4 innings. But Shohei Ohtani, this home run that this cat hits in this moment, where a lot of people are saying the Padres are going to beat the Dodgers. This is Dodgers don't have the pitching, all the injuries, everything else, and this is his first playoff appearance because the Angels sucked ass, so he never went with them, and he met the moment tonight. This home run, I went outside to go see if it was going to hit Vegas. He hit a towering fucking blast, and it was so important because it was a 3-1 home run, and I feel that once they tied the game, now they gave up 2 runs because this umpire called a ball on a strike that's a strike. And then the next thing I know, what's his face hit, he hit a 2-run double, and now we're down 5-3. But then the Dodgers clawed back and got their runs, and the bullpen tonight was excellent. But the highlight of the game is this home run that this cat hits. That's the difference between the Dodgers 2 years last year and the year before. This is the game they lose. They get down early and they stay down. Nobody's there to pick them back up. Shohei Ohtani, he's making $700 million over 10 years, most of it deferred. He may, I know this is going to sound absurd. Shohei Ohtani, given what he's did this year and what he may do next year because he can pitch, he may, at $700 million, he may be underpaid. He may be underpaid. He's putting up numbers. When you see the comparisons, they put Shohei on the screen, and you see some grainy black and white shit from like the 1900s, that's when you know you have an all-time great. He's selling jerseys. He's selling bobbleheads. He's selling everything. So, yes, indeed. I saw that. I saw that. And, yes, they are the best team. Whoever wins this series is going to go on, I think. But, yeah, the way that setup is, the wild card. No, I did not. Was that on the pay-per-view? Because I missed it. I was doing other things. I was watching the pay-per-view. I feel like they're building up to Netflix. Like Cody versus Roman 3, Rock versus Cody. I don't want to see Cody versus Roman 3. I wouldn't mind The Rock. I don't want to see Cody. Yeah, he's an all-star level pitcher. So this getting the 50-50 shit, he stole 60 bases this year, or 59 bases this year. He ain't going to be doing that next year. You're not going to want him diving head first with his hands and expending all that energy if he's your pitcher. And he's definitely going to pitch next year. So now I got a guy that can do this. He can hit 54 home runs, 59 stolen bases, 133 RBI, and he can pitch. He's superhuman. All of a sudden, and he can produce in the playoffs. All of a sudden, $700 million for 10 years, that's a steal. He may want to ask for a pay raise. Cody has not been set up to have villains, so it's been a mid-run. Yeah, I'm going to agree that this run that he's been on as champion has not been memorable for me. He could have even taken a force. Yeah, he could. He hasn't had that signature moment as champion. Yeah, best player since Babe Ruth, and I know Babe Ruth. People put Babe Ruth on a Paul Bunyan, in his Ox Babe status because it was a 700 some odd home runs. You also got to remember Shohei Ohtani is doing this in the modern era. Shohei Ohtani is doing this in 2024 with everything you have had. You've had 80 years to counter what Babe Ruth was. Plus, you didn't have integration. Baseball is a world sport. He's a living prime example of back in the day when only people who could play American baseball before 1948 were white people. You have Hall of Fame talent that was in the Negro Leagues that never made it to the major leagues. Shohei Ohtani is playing in the best form of Major League Baseball you could ever play in, and he's doing this. He's putting up video game numbers. And that home run tonight, because I was so pissed, I'm like, oh, here we go again with this shit. 3-0, all they're going to do is strike out, because that's what they did last year. Once they got down, they stayed down, and there was not a Shohei Ohtani, and that home run that he hit, man, and you knew it was gone as soon as he hit it. Bam, it was gone. Because he hits him at a trajectory and an angle, there's like, unless there's a fucking satellite there to catch the ball, it's gone. So I really enjoyed tonight's game. It was intense, but the bullpen held it together. And Dodgers hitting can't get to Padres pitching. They've shown that already. So I'm glad it happened tonight. Okay, handheld footage. All right, cool. My last name is Rhodes, which Cody legally changed his name to me. So I'm a fan. Yeah, his real name is Runnels because he's the son of the Great American Dream. Who is real? Dusty Rhodes. His real name is Virgil Runnels. I'm white and adamant that the modern era should be 1969 for the playoffs in 1948. Yeah, because it's integration, and especially once you went into Latin America and you went into Cuba to start getting players, dude. Some of the greatest players of all time. Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. There's a reason why we have this World Baseball Classic, and the U.S. doesn't always win it. Shohei Ohtani won it. He struck out his teammate at the time, Mike Trout, who stays injured. He struck out his own teammate to win it for Japan. Japan has a lot of major league talent. The guy who started the game tonight is making $325 million. Yoma Yamamoto, and he's from Japan. I mean, you got guys from all over the world, and Babe Ruth wasn't playing against that. He retired. Babe Ruth retired years before all that went down. So yeah, I see why he changed his name. The roster felt stacked by WrestleMania, and now it feels shallow. It feels shallow, and plus, he might be sleeping. I might be getting high. I don't know. I love this guy, dude. There's a couple people who told me that I should do a sports show. Man, oh my goodness, that fucking show would never end. You think we have 3 and 4 hour shows now where I'm like, oh wow, we get here. That show would never end. And you know what? And my blood pressure, because when I start talking about sports, especially while I'm watching them sometimes, and if they don't go right, I'm like, what the motherfucker? Like tomorrow. I know there's somebody that's going to fuck up my fantasy league tomorrow by getting 1 catch for 7 yards. But I picked up Jared Goff. He's on a bye week, but I got his receiver. That's why you say pre-recorded. Yeah. You know what? We might have. Yeah, even John Campia. John Campia has another channel now because he loves sports. I do love sports. Probably have to mix some wrestling in there too, but you know what? Does The Rock challenge at Survivor Series or have Cody team up with the Bloodline? I think I don't know what they're going to do with Cody, but I think the storyline is going to be who does The Rock choose, because you got to realize you have Tama Tonga and all those guys on that one Bloodline, and now you're going to have the Usos and Roman Reigns. So who does he choose? Because they're all his blood. So I am 3-1, and I hope I go 4-1 tomorrow. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. He's not as hyperbolic when he's talking sports. Cowboys are about to lose to the Steelers tomorrow. Sorry, Chuck. All right. So in the I've ran out of topics. I covered everything. So
well, before we do that, I'll maybe do this as a lead into that, because I said I was going to talk a bit more about Superman and Lois. The first 3 episodes, because I mentioned that.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, you should have reminded me. I could have put that on the thumbnail.
Well, sorry. Well, I mean, again, hopefully, hopefully you see more of it before the show. So I don't know if they're going to be doing any more screeners. If they're going to do like
they usually don't do it after the first 3 episodes, I think, or after the first 5. Sometimes they do the whole series. Like some people,
they did it.
I know people that got a whole Penguin screeners. I'm like,
well, they did with Twilight of the Gods. We got the whole.
That's right. That's right.
Which usually, in my experience, is not what Netflix does. They usually they would usually bracket those out. But with the Superman Lois. Now, again, there's reasons for that. And in fact, have you watched the screeners yet?
No, I have not had a chance.
Okay. Well,
I'll probably end up watching the actual series as it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, because it starts the first 2 episodes air on Monday.
Yeah.
But you have seen the show up to this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was surprised when you said that, because it kind of made it sound like you were you said, yeah, the show's not really my thing, but I can understand why like Brad and other people are a fan of it. So it kind of sounded like you were just sort of periodically jumping in on it.
Well, I have major issues with the show. It's still it has a CW edge to it, but it's the best thing that they've ever done. And it doesn't really, like I said, I haven't watched the screeners since I've been slammed, but it didn't take much time for me today to watch it. I have it up here when I was watching it. I'm not like, as attentive as you are. I'm doing this, but I'm keeping track of what's going on. I don't like the direction that show has gone in. I don't like characters that turned into other characters that did certain things. Obviously, I thought that was silly. But the show itself, if CW had taken, if the goal of CW was to make money at the beginning stages of their creation when they merged, then CW would be something that could be regarded. But like I said, I can't believe the channel that made Smallville made Superman and Lois. Smallville, to me, is trash. Superman and Lois, while I don't agree with it narratively, is high end. It's high end for what they've done. Even by CW comparisons, it's still, they spent money on this show. I don't know where the fuck they got it from, but they spent money on this show. So that alone piqued my interest in it. I'm like, if they're going to commit some cash in their dying days, and I'll commit some moments. But like I said, you love it way more than me, so I'm going to let you at it.
Okay, so without going into too much, because there are things.
Don't buck up your non. Or you don't even have one for that, do you?
Do I have what?
There's no non-disclosure, right? You can talk about it.
Oh no, there are tons of things that we've gotten it. There's like a list that said, please don't or talk about this or this or this.
I saw the email.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of plot points I can't reveal. I mean, it's not exactly a spoiler to reveal that this going off of the cliffhanger of season 3, that this is setting up a Death of Superman story, because of course Doomsday is involved. And in fact, I'll bring up my tweet I did initially when I revealed I had seen the first 3 episodes, because it's kind of give you everybody an idea of like my initial sort of reaction. I think a lot of you've already seen this, and this went pretty far when I put it up. So I'm gonna. In fact, I may do a couple more quote tweets on this to kind of flesh out my thoughts a bit more here. But yes, my thoughts here. I've seen the first 3 episodes of Superman and Lois season 4. 5 days ago, I thought it was the best live-action Superman TV show. If the start of season 4 is any indication, this could be remembered as the best live-action superhero TV series, full stop. And that's basically my initial reaction going into season 4. Again, there's tons I can't. I mean, there's tons I can't give away right now, but it really. one of the things the show does so well, William was kind of alluding to as far as like it does a great job of like really being cinematic. It's a TV show, but it's like it really comes across as a Superman movie told in episodic form. And for anybody who's been following like the making of this season, should be aware that this is because the CW is kind of wrapping up, and this also James Gunn's DCU may or may not have played a role in them deciding to end it at season 4 instead of the 7 seasons they initially wanted to do with it. But so because of that, it's the episode count is down to 10. The first 2 seasons were 15, 3 was 13, and this is 10. Other than like the Kent family and one or two other, most of the main supporting cast, they're now in recurring or guest starring roles. So they've had budget cuts on the show, and it's a shorter season. Even with all that, it's like it's still amazing to me. It's like you don't sense that at all with like how season 4 is. It's so amazing to me, like how well they maintain the standard that they start of quality they start out with, but not just in storytelling, but also just in scale and presentation and visual effects and powers and everything like that. It doesn't. And the first season they had to take a COVID break. And they had a whole bunch of breaks in season 2, which really kind of, were annoying as they broke up the momentum. But the show it does such a great job of like whatever external factors kind of impact it in terms of its rollout or the episode quantity or budgetary, anything. It's like it masks that so well. I've seen so few DC or Marvel shows that are just this good at just anything that they have to adapt to is really being kept off screen. And Superman and Lois does that incredibly well. And so that's point number 1 as far as what something that jumped out at me is the first 3 episodes of season 4. Again, what else can I say here? You guys, I mean, anybody who watches the show, you're going to be seeing 2/3 of what I have on Monday night, because that's when the first 2 episodes will be airing. I did mention also previously, we were talking about this actually during the last Penguin Watch Party. Which means that yeah, I would not be surprised. In fact, I'm gonna look this up real quick if this is what they're doing, because we've got 10 episodes this season. I would imagine they want to wrap up the show by Christmas. Because I think it's like the week before Christmas, like most broadcast shows, that's when you're like your last slot is to do your final episode of the year, when that usually is. So, I would guess that's when they want to get that out by by like the last week of December. It doesn't say. I'm looking at the Wikipedia now. It doesn't say like when the beyond the first 3 episodes when each one's going to air. With again kind of everything that unfolds with the first 3 episodes and kind of where things stand at the end of episode 3, I would not be surprised if they decide episode 3, okay, we're taking a 2-week break instead. Like, see you next week, we're taking a 2-week break. And Spidey actually kind of suggested this, where it said, okay, because it's 10 episodes, it's like it'll be like 3 episode brackets, or like the first 2, it's like 3 episodes, 2-week break, another 3, 2-week break. And then the final 4, they might do a thing like, okay, then similar with this is like air the next 2 episodes, and then the last 2 will be in a one night like 2-hour kind of thing. I would not be surprised if that's how they intend to roll this out. If it's going to be given in like increments like that, because what stuff that happens, and not just with like the again the handling of the Death of Superman adaptation that this is, and of course everything that goes along with that, but also there are other things, specifically with the Kent family and the like Jordan story, Jonathan story. There's a lot going on with this, where it's like I would feel like, okay, they want to kind of leave you. They want to, they want to leave you like a feeling of like anticipation of like, okay, we got him here. let's let that kind of anticipation percolate for a little bit longer period. So we have like a 2-week break between each one, and they'll feed into December, like right before Christmas. That's what I think. That's what I would not be surprised, and I think they may be doing that with this. I still am adamant about. I know it drives William crazy. I think we will see Jordan again. We will see him. He will be our equivalent on the show to Connell. Black jacket, S shield on the back, pierced ear, telekinesis, those sunglasses. Because
like I said, at this show, it's over with, so it's not like they can do any damage to themselves.
And
But that would be stupid.
the thing about it is too, is because again, BVS, slash, because this the show is telling Death of Superman between season 3 and season 4. And we've seen animated movies of that. We've seen BVS into ZSJL do the death and resurrection story of Superman. And as with any comic book story, it's no comic book story is ever like a 1-to-1 in the adaptation. From comics to live action, they all modified how they need to. And in the case of BVS, it was a the death is the it's the precursor to the formation of the Justice League, which of course in the comics the Justice League is already long established. So that's a modification that Zach made, Chris Terry and David Goyer made because it fit the story they were telling. With this, again, there are things, there are elements that they're part of the Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman that have kind of been there for the show along, like Steel, like John Henry Irons. He's been in the show since season 1. He's a character whose origin is tied into Reign of the Superman because he's one of the guys who's like, when Superman dies, he steps up. I'm going to be, be his successor. Then he comes back. It's like, okay, now I'm going to be one of his associates. He's been on the show since season 1. His origin is completely different on Superman and Lois.
If you drew your source from this, you can never be a top level TV show to me. If you drew your source from this story, you want people to watch what you're producing, and you drew your source from this story. Something's up. All right. Something's up.
Okay, so now that that nonsense is over,
the nonsense is still on a network TV show. That's the nonsense. But
he's one of my favorite characters on the show. It's like I'm really he's among the many elements that make it that I've really latched onto because this is the first time in live action we've seen the Superman John Henry Irons, the partnership. We talk about things like the Bat family, but there's also the Superman family. He's part of the Superman family.
Yeah, we don't need to see them on something you actually want to make money off of. No.
Well, we do on this. So, but again, the way the show started and where it's going in this season, again, there are aspects of Death of Superman that I think that they're kind of repurposing, in again without going into spoilers, they're how certain things come about, how certain things happen. It's being tweaked and modified in ways that I find really interesting, and I think it's going to be fun to see how that unfolds again.
Should have been tweaked out of the story.
There's my theory about the Jordan. I mean, he's had powers on the show for quite a while now. But my theory is that he's like properly going to be seen as the equivalent to Con-El, to Superboy. Again, other things, other characters. Again, there's tons I can't reveal right now. So this will be fun. Like when after this coming Monday, once like the first few episodes have aired, and I can like openly talk about everything that happens, and even more so, the after season episode 3. That's when I really can't wait to after the 14th to really kind of talk about. Okay, now I can really go out in the open here because there's some of like Lex Luthor's plot here is. There's kind of a X factor that you don't really that is not intrinsic in the in the source material as far as Death of Superman, and it's still not clear at this point in the show like where he's going with this. I have some ideas, but I can't really talk about it without going into spoilers. But and it's part of why I say it's like I think after episode 3 they're going to take a 2-week break, air the next 3 episodes, 2-week break after that, and then like the next 2, and then the two final ones as a 2-hour finale just for
I'm
Christmas.
glad there's some people out there that like it. It just wasn't for me. I think the narratively they fucked themselves by just telling a bad story. I will, like I said, it's top tier as far as the production values of it, and for what the CW has been, I give it that. The storytelling apparatus is awful. Their decisions that they've made to go with and stories that they've chosen to tell are awful. And it's sad that when you finally get the money and the resources to go all in, hey, all in DC, you do this. And I just think it's, this is the difference between a show that is on the CW, even a top tier show on CW, it's still a CW, and a show on HBO Max.
No, this I think could have been like well, again, it's again because it's ending. I mean,
it could have never been on HBO Max.
No, I think I could have seen
this show. This show is like no, it can't, because you don't, when you're on HBO Max, the decision making that or HBO period, the decision making, you don't make the kind of decisions that they've made with Superman and Lois and end up on a network like a Max. There's just no way it wouldn't fly. It doesn't. I don't even know if it's flying on the CW because their numbers are what they are. You basically took surface elements, and did a popularity contest from which you can remember in 20 years of, and just picked high spots. You can't do that on shows, on channels that actually people lose their jobs if people don't watch them. Like I said, they put the money. I'm sorry, they put the money down. Finally, since 2006, they got money from somewhere. I don't know where. To make a top tier presentation, and they just basically rehashed stuff that really didn't work in the comics. And not only did they rehash stuff that didn't work in the comics, they rehashed stuff that other people have already rehashed. It's like you're third or fourth in line in the rehash thing. And it's like, you couldn't do that on HBO. This show could have never migrated over to a Max. It could have never migrated. I mean, I don't see how. You look at the type of storytelling that they tell, pick a series on HBO and look at what they're not going for any cheap highs. They're just not. I mean,
Okay, so now everybody, we've let the crazy old man have his deal there. So the show is coming up very shortly here, and everybody who's heard me talk about it's awesome despite Williams' protestations.
No, it's just listen. I was watching this stuff and these storylines before a lot of you could even read.
And
I understand these storylines better than probably any of you. And I understand how they're supposed to flow. I understand where there's quality points. And I understand where there's trash storylines when they came out 20, 30 years ago. We cover a lot of them on this show. And it's out of all the mythos you could pick out of the last son of Krypton, this is what they picked. It's kind of like Smallville. You are literally been gift wrapped Superman. And you have to work hard to dull that. And they did it. That's just my opinion. But you guys enjoy the show. I'm just, it's just, but like I said, I mean, I'm glad you all got your ending, though. If there's anything, listen, I think the show is high production value. I've watched it. I'm glad that you guys who followed the show from the beginning are going to get your end.
Yeah, because I was talking about when you stepped away. That's something I may tack onto this tweet. I may quote tweet.
Listen, hold on. I'm watching your banner. Listen. There's nothing for me to admit when it comes to the death of Superman. There's nothing for me to admit. I lived that bullshit. I'm still sitting on shit that I can't even give away in regards to that storyline. I just showed you one. There's no admitting anything.
Wait, no, you said it caused a lot of the shops in Vegas to close. You're still here, so it's in the competition. So there you go.
No, no. Like I said, I wish you could have been here to understand what kind of garbage it was at the time it was being released. Looking at it in a retrospect, maybe there's a different shine on it. There isn't. It's the same fucking story that did what it did in 1992, and I don't want to see it again. I mean, if you're being paid to put something on TV or in a movie for the next 25 years, if you come to me with the death of Superman again for your motion picture narrative, I'm automatically not going to see it. I'm done. If you're getting paid millions, and after all the other people have done it now, I could see if you were one of those 3 or 4 people in the last 20 years, fine. But after all this has been done over and over again, if you're wanting to peel money out of my wallet and you come to me, hey, I think we're going to kill Superman on a movie or a TV show again, I'm not watching your movie and I'm not watching your TV show.
I'd like to remind everybody they have done it one time cinematically and one time on television. That is 2 times.
An 85-year-old character, why are you having to rehash anything? Even when they redid Zod, the Terrence Stamp is significantly different than Michael Shannon.
That's the other thing. Well, yeah, he is. That's the other thing too. I'm still that's still. This is what this goes into my my thoughts on the show overall and like where it kind of stands. And I'll stop torturing you here. No, screw that. I'm leaving this banner down there.
Yeah, you're right, Vince. It's too many times.
Because there's talk about there's like some kind of mystery character that's going to appear on the show.
I'm horrified.
At some point.
To know who this is.
My theory has been maybe we'll see General Zod because he's been alluded to in season 1. But that's the thing I really and I've actually I don't know if we should be talking about this yet because I need to check the list again on like the stuff they asked. Like don't.
And see, Zod is a kind of enemy that is intertwined in the history of Krypton. Each time you bring Zod in, you can do something different with Zod. There's no premise that Zod has to be the same time every time you bring him in. The one that came through with Terrence Stamp, and like I said, Michael Shannon, and even the one on Krypton, there's different ways to do Zod. That's how you do a character like that. That's the Superman. It's just, stop.
Okay. So everybody, ignore Williams' protestations. The show is awesome. Anyway, kind of final. I was saying a minute ago. So I may tack on to this quote tweet. I'll definitely be talking about this, more as the show goes on. But that's another thing about this. What he was referring to about, again, the fact that even though they had initially planned for this to be 7 seasons, again they found a way to adapt to that. That's by all indications, very impressive. As the show, from my
I want to find out the truth about that. By the way, I want to.
Yeah, I do too. I really do too.
Because, like I said, with everything I've said about this show, fair is fair. And if it has an audience, even if it's not me, if that audience bought into your show, you meant for there to be 6 or 7 seasons. Now, if there's financial reasons, obviously CW is what it is. If there's business reasons, I'm all for it. But if it's because of this whole whatever, which I haven't gotten any indication, I'm gonna be very mad. And that's for somebody who just really tore the show up.
Because then it's like, then you're telling me it's like, okay, now I just lost not 1 but 2 Supermen that I was really invested in for the sake of one I may or may not, have a strong attachment to once I see him.
Yeah.
So I may tack on to this. I'm definitely gonna be talking about it more as the show goes on, and the fact that again that they are putting a bow on this, that we are getting a proper conclusion. It's one thing. I remember like when I first saw Endgame, and I've said this about other things. I definitely feel this way about Superman and Lois. It's the same thing I'll say about always say about the the 5-part arc with Zack Snyder's Justice League. With these characters and with these worlds and this method of storytelling, these things have a weight. And they have impact, they have resonance, they have longevity because they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. When these things have like an arc that sees itself through, that's what gives it its staying power, and that's like what is really going to, I think, serve Superman and Lois long term. In terms of its legacy within DC, at large, when like in the pantheon of Superman adaptations, is the fact that the show has had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and an end in the sense that it wasn't just cut off at the knees. It's like it was allowed to conclude its story.
Yeah.
So
I will defend Superman and Lois on that. And if that was your reasoning, if it's business reason, because like I said, you spent a whole bunch of money on a network that never drew ratings and made money. So if that's if you're going to tell me that is public knowledge, people know that. But if it's for any other reasons, then I'm going to have an issue with it. I'm gonna have an issue. If I don't like the goofy story that they're telling, I can stop watching. That's my role as a fan. But that doesn't mean I want it taken from someone else for those reasons. Like I said, if somebody's watching it And if they think that there's a fan base, there's a bunch of Brads out there watching it. I think like I said, I think some of the decisions that they've made with the story have been absolutely fucking horrendous. But guess what? I'm not going to take it from him. I'm just going to and I've watched it. I'm just going to go on to something else. If I can't take it anymore, if I see more Reign of Superman shit and I can't take it anymore, I am going to get up from the table and leave. I'm not going to flip over the whole table so that he can't watch it. That's fucked up. And that's what happens these days. So, all right, let's let in our
So those are my thoughts on as far as I'm allowed to comment at the moment on Superman and Lois season 4.
You probably overdid it. You're probably going to get a cease and desist order.
Yo, two things for you guys. Number one, Brad, on the Superman and Lois thing. He's got the 2 kids. Mm-hmm. I'm not really against that. If I was like Superman and I had like Erica Durance, we'd probably have like 14 kids. So I totally understand what that's all about. As far as the second one goes, William, that story was great.
The only thing good, no, it wasn't.
Spidey,
one good thing. I'm talking
about all in.
Oh, okay.
That shit was incredible.
Yes, it was, man.
That shit was great.
I'm hearing nothing but great things about it. Again,
you got to read it.
Excited.
You got to read it.
I haven't been this excited.
I didn't read the Absolute Power 4, but I have been. I've read the other one, so I kind of picked up on the hook of where they were going with it. So.
And I just sold.
I saw you. You got people coming in late at night buying comic books off you, right? So.
And I'm showing them that. And like I said, my shelf is getting thin, and I sold out yesterday. Went out and got it. I haven't been this excited about a storyline in a long time.
I didn't even consider when you said Keith Giffen. Because I was totally like. At first, I was jarred by the way they drew the Dark Side because I read the Superman side first, and or the Justice League side first. But the way they drew it, I was sitting there thinking at first it was kind of like dirty, and I was like, no, this is like I was looking at everybody's eyes and their drawings, and so I was thinking this is like a callback to Kirby, but it's not really Kirby. But when you say Giffen, it's that plus like there's a lot of JLI Giffen references in there. You got the Legion stuff. You got the booster stuff, talking about Ted and making fun of Guy Gardner with the kids for the selfie. There's just little, like Taladia was saying earlier, there's little Easter eggs in there. You know what I mean?
Like
just
Booster
just
Gold.
spread all through it.
I have no use for.
But
Booster Gold.
he's not bad this time around. He kind of puts
actually.
You see him putting the bullshit aside, and the robots trying to make him act more like the old Booster Gold, and he's kind of like. No, this is too serious. I'm really on the league for real this time. Like that. And then they made it the Justice League Unlimited. You see how they this is nice, William. It's nice how they did it.
I saw how they did. Like I say, Scott Snyder was basically taking all the things, he basically took all the things that worked the last 35 years, and he took those elements and made them his.
And he didn't turn it into a Crisis, at least so far. So it's just a spinoff for right now.
Well, it's
kind of Brad. I think you might like this. I think the Superman of this universe is going to be the main character.
Okay.
Yeah. The way they're setting the story up, even though Booster Gold is the one that has the things. Well, it's not even that. It's like because Superman initiates things, but you see Superman's the one telling the story. Even I mean, when you get to the Booster Gold stuff, it's definitely Booster Gold, but like you see what Superman has like an overall plan, and then. When you read the Dark Side and they explain things to Dark Side, it's like there's a good reason that it's going to probably be Superman versus Dark Side at least at some point in the conflict.
Gotcha.
So Superman versus Dark Side.
Superman. Yep. And there's even little hints of that in the book. You gotta check it out, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's sold out like that, so there are two
different art styles. The whatever the Prime Earth and the Alpha Earth. Are we calling it the Alpha Earth and the Omega Earth? Is that how we're doing
Alpha and Omega. The Omega one is the one I've been seeing on all the Ultimate stuff. Like the Wonder Woman artist they did their part in there. She looks great.
The only part I didn't like is when they showed the little preview of the Batman looks nothing like he does. Like it, I know they were just giving us a little. So I really can't wait till that Batman book comes out because the art that they did for the little Batman Flash that you saw, it was nothing compared to what you see in these.
I recognize it was recognizable as him in that universe.
No, I get it, but it's that art style was lending more to the Fourth World stuff of it. Oh man, the Fourth World stuff was great.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And by the way,
the Fourth World stuff was great.
Real quick,
what-
Rational brand. That's you now, Brad. Some of these are bad Arrowverse hurt the DC brand and reputation. I think the Arrowverse in general hurt the DC brand because it for a lot of people who looked at it for the very first time, they saw low budget superhero stuff and they never came back. Yes, it had its hardcore fans, but you look at the numbers. These are not Williams numbers. You look at the numbers. You basically fed money into something like that, and low levels of money. And for some people, you never get a chance to make a first impression. Some of the first time that people saw that, for every person who says, I love the Flash, I should get that guy to play the motion pictures. There's like 30 or 40 people who saw it and said, this looks like some low budget Muppet shit. I'm moving on.
Say, man.
and that's why when Superman Lois started, I mean, like right from the beginning, it was kind of ambiguous. I mean, even though we'd seen Tyler Hoechlin on Supergirl, you know, the tone right off the bat, like made it really raised a lot of questions. Like, is this on the, does this take place in the same continuity as the Arrowverse shows? And they really kept it at arm's length until the finale of season 2, and that's when they came clean and said, yeah, this is a different Earth altogether.
Which is right. That was a good decision because I think that would have mess that he was doing before would have hurt hurt that. Like I said, listen, for those of you who love Superman and Lois, I think they've made some horrible decisions storytelling wise. But here's the thing: I will fucking defend your show from being ripped away from you for some bullshit.
And it's better, like you said earlier, William. It is better than like 90% of the shit the CW ever put out for.
It's better than all the shit.
Yeah, it's by far the best CW DC show. And by the way, on that note, William, we have somebody join us in the chat here tonight.
I saw that.
So I've never tried to do this before. I have 2 images to share. It's
okay.
Nothing like crazy or anything. No, it goes back to the sports thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to know it's
okay.
It's my kid.
Okay.
And if it's 2 images, when I hit present, like, do I need to like share my screen?
Yeah, where it says present and then share the screen that you want me to see.
Okay. Window.
So you'll hit present and you'll see all your screens and you just pick the one you want us to bring up on.
Chuck Cage has been throwing out some Green Arrow ideas all chat. He's a big Green Arrow fan. Like,
oh, by the way, NXT live wrestling is, dude, everybody wants that shit now. So CW is going to do well. AEW just got a truckload of money. They're about to get another from another network. So yeah, everybody makes fun of me for being a wrestling fan. It's keeping some of these networks going, man.
We make fun of you anyways, William.
I don't care, and I am okay with it. I was the first person I learned how to laugh at. So I'm good. Let me know when you got it up, or if you want to send it to me, and I'll put. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, this is my son Gannon when the Rams were still here.
Is he the one in the goat costume?
Oh yeah, he was definitely not Rampage, but yeah, I think he was 7 months. Then.
How old is he now?
He is 14.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah, we definitely miss having a NFL team here, but what can you do?
Yeah, Kroenke. But hey, in all fairness, Stan Kroenke never wanted to come. He never wanted to leave. It was Georgia Frontier who had the majority stake that left. He tried to talk her out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. And was it Shad Khan? He had a minority ownership there in 2010.
And now he's driving Jacksonville. Well, you can't really drive Jacksonville. They're actually better than I thought they were going to be this year. But yeah, we'll do
real quick, that whole thing I was telling you about, we could do it. I could record a sports show, and all I need is your voice on Discord.
Okay.
And my whole OBS setup, like Spider-Man can tell you.
Well, you know
I can do that, record it. Yep, and I can edit it and all that, and it doesn't have to go on for.
Because we might not have done a show tonight. If the Dodgers would have lost that game, I was thinking about just canceling the show tonight.
Williams is always acting up.
That was a game.
OBS
no,
and his
my
IBS.
internet was fucked, dude. My internet, dude. I couldn't even watch. I have FS1 here. I couldn't even. Cox wouldn't even let me sign in to FS1. I have I have Cox cable, and FS1 is one of the things. So you're blacked out. How are you blocking me out? It's a
What's up with all
national
your
game.
subscriptions? Because Amazon's got you with commercials, Disney had you with commercials. Why has everybody got you fucked up on your subscriptions?
I don't
man?
know, and I'm paying the money. But
Right.
Dodgers, well, we had a problem with the Dodgers because the Dodgers are, dude, they fucking TV deal. They blacked them out here in Vegas, and when the A's get here, they'll lift the blackout, but that's 3 years from now. So I understand that. So I watch it through other means. But when it's a nationally televised playoff game, you can't black me out. So I had to fucking sign out of everything and sign back in, and then they track your IP, and I'm like, you're in Vegas, you're blacked out. And I'm like, I'm emailing them, and because they have a little live chat, I'm like, everybody should be able to watch this game. And they fixed something with my IP and took off the block. So I was able to watch that up here. But no, with the other ones, I actually fixed the commercials on the other one. They refunded me. They gave me 3 free months.
Nice.
So gotta because I was paying and I was getting commercials while we were doing watch along.
I can understand if the A's were like there already. Why
Yeah.
might be
Well,
blacked
once
out.
the A's goes, the ban gets lifted because you can't have a blackout with 2 teams in the city or in the region. We're considered the LA region,
and you're
so
what, 300 miles, right?
285 miles away.
285.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I figured
I'll
it
be
was
happy.
something around that.
I can't wait till the A's get here because you know what? I get to go see games. Even if it's 2 teams I don't, I love watching baseball. I'll watch baseball if it's teams I don't like because the science of baseball, people call it boring and that's fine, but the science of baseball, especially when you listen to the commentators describe it, like I grew up with Vince Scully, and that's like one of the best. I mean, one of the 2 or 3 greatest announcers of all time, and he could I learned so much from the game just hearing him talk about it.
Well, he's definitely got the best first name of any broadcaster ever.
Yeah, that's just so you pimped both your first and last name on my show tonight. That's
Yeah.
very clever, Vince. Very clever.
Well, Bo Jackson's first name is Vincent as well.
Who?
Bo
Jackson.
Bo knows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vincent,
you know what?
Vincent
That was
Bo.
one of the greatest athletes that had his career ended over some bullshit. The Reds owner, yeah, he lacerated his. He did something. He injured himself and he was never the same again, and he ended up retiring early. He retired 32 years old when he retired. Who disappeared?
Fourth.
Fourth 1000.
Okay.
Well, I look at it like sometimes I comment on the Facebook side anyway, so I ain't that worried about exposing my name.
Yeah, wrestling is hot right now. Yeah, it is hot right now. I'm glad. I know I'm not alone, but like I said, I'm an addict though. I have issues. I'm far beyond just a normal wrestling fan. I am, like I said, I showed you guys the other night. I have belts that I wear.
Did you ever participate in like pro-am wrestling or any like?
No, I've had people body slam me and power bomb me for promotions. Like this week, we might film a promo if I can get in the ring and have somebody power bomb me, and we do like a 30-second promo, you know, because we got a live wrestling event. Okay, two crickets fighting each other. Isn't that like really noisy?
No, she's talking about cricket, the baseball like game, you know.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, the ball,
She's probably flipping me off again right now.
She's kicking you. She's kicking you right now. That's what she's doing.
She was hilarious today. I try to watch wrestling as much as I can. Yeah, and I watch wrestling from all over the world. Like I said, Japan is 14 hours ahead of us, and I'm up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning watching that shit. I want to go to Wrestle Kingdom. I don't think I'm going to make it to this Wrestle Kingdom because it's in January, and it takes place after a lot of other different things. But that is on my bucket list to get to Tokyo, Japan for Wrestle Kingdom and be there live. Watch that shit. But yeah, I'll go all over the place. So, all right, what did you guys think about Joker? I guess that's one of the reasons I bought you.
I have not seen the Joker.
Okay, so
not yet, but I'm fine with being spoiled on it. I've already heard it plenty of times at this point. So, you know, sounds like it was a victim of its expectations at kind of where it was at. So people were expecting kind of something different, and they're not as pleased.
See, I was one of those people.
Pretty much so, but I really enjoyed it. That's my thoughts on it.
So even though you didn't expect what you got, you still enjoyed it, as opposed to William, who didn't expect.
Well, I didn't have no expectations. I
But I'm
knew
also saying it's not a bad movie, though. People are saying
right.
Hey, and Also, we've been saying this for a while, but Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit. Okay, but I think some people just should not take Rotten Tomatoes seriously at all, and I don't understand
Well,
why.
as
I mean,
I
here's the-
understand, if you have 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, isn't considered fresh because it's based on the. You're muted or something, Brad. I see you moving your mouth, but
It's 61%.
okay.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it is an aggregate, so it's just
Mm.
all of those.
Well, and
ratings
you
put together.
well, you can be like your review can be like I thought this movie was decent but not great, and it gets the fresh tomato, or you could be like I thought it could have been better but it wasn't terrible, and it gets the rotten tomato. So it's so binary in how you go from like the rotten fresh thing that's like it ends up painting like a picture of things a lot of times that where it's a lot more black and white than probably probably what it really is. But more so with this one than Rotten Tomatoes, the cinema score is like really getting parroted around because it has a D on cinema score, which is the
Yeah.
lowest of any comic book movie ever. So which did surprise me.
Fun Fun's asking if it's going to be considered a flop.
Yeah, that's especially because it's budget. Probably because it's budget too, because this costs so much more than the first one. It costs
Where
close
do you
to
think the
$200
money
million.
went into? $200 million though. I wonder why they spent
People got pay raises. that's
Yeah.
Top Bill's got a pay raise. Joaquin Phoenix got a pay raise. Lady Gaga got whatever whatever her price tag is. So that's a big part of it. Trying to think, are there any other big star? Yeah, any big stars? I mean, you got other big names in it, but you got like Brendan Gleeson, you got other people, but not necessarily like. I mean, you had Robert De Niro in the first one, like he doesn't come cheap. So, but yeah, the big thing that inflated the budget, is because of the first one. People coming back for this one, definitely got a raise. Aaron's also got a follow up here for you, William. Nah, I didn't flip you off, William, this time. I thought you might have been serious about the cricket match.
No, I've actually never seen cricket before, so I don't mind watching it. Cricket, and what's the other one? There's another game that's like really big in college, but it's not necessarily a traditional sport. What is it?
Lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Yeah. Lacrosse is actually, I think lacrosse is Canada's actually official sport. It's not hockey. I think lacrosse is actually the official
I thought it
sport.
was the one where they sweep the ice. What is that called? Curling? I thought that was their national
curling.
sport.
Dude, I watched that in the Olympics back in 08 or whatever, and I'm like, what am I watching here? They got the squeegees. They got the squeegees.
They got it's a broom. They sweep
I actually sat and watched the whole thing. I'm like, wow, what's
Hello, Droga. The Snyderverse will be restored in live action. I'm saying that just to annoy you.
It will not be restored in live action.
I'm saying that to annoy you, and now you're leaving again.
It's like watching Shuffleboard.
Here's a good question.
Drogo's going to come to that screen and kill and beat you. Or what happens if he has Kyle Rayner's ring? Brad, you'd be totally fucked.
Well, Kyle Rayner was notoriously indecisive with his ring because he was like a rookie. So.
How does Craven do now? It's the last.
Yeah,
I think Craven is going to do. I think Craven's
that's
gonna
probably going to bomb.
I don't think. I don't
You
know
know
what
what's
it's going to
make so much money in December? Sonic 3.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
Yeah, Sonic will do well.
Yeah, you're talking about two
probably
different.
the one.
See, here's the thing. Like, I'm a Sonic fan. I'm going to go see Sonic 3. Plus, I'm going to go see Craven.
Yeah,
so you
I don't think one is going to take away from the other.
They come apart like they're releasing like 2 weeks apart from each other, aren't they? Let me look this up.
But it's
okay, a movie with a guy who bites a guy's nose off is not going to cross over with a fucking hedgehog. It's just not going to take away from each other.
Kids, you never know.
See, I grew up. I'm sure you grew up with Sonic, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then having Keanu play Shadow, like hell yeah, I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah.
But seeing how violent Craven's gonna be, like hell yeah, I'm gonna go see that too.
Well,
yeah,
who knows?
You had me at
I
no.
know like from the trailers. It just
what was that, Droga?
me over.
They might kill that kid in Sonic 3. Who knows?
But Craven comes out. Craven comes out the week before. Craven comes out December 13th, and Sonic is out on the 20th. So
one of those movies. Well, you might. A lot of people will go see Sonic. A lot of people go see it on film, but I don't think because one's a family movie and the other one's not. So I don't think they're going to have to.
To add to what Axel was saying is like that girl actually died. Yeah, the little girl in that Sonic 3 trailer, she actually died in the game.
Yeah,
That little girl.
she's like a huge part of Shadow's character.
So it's not like it's. I don't know
But
how
she's
they're
gonna get
gonna
her
get
nose
that
bitten
part.
off, like
No, she's not. She
Yeah,
gets
there you go.
either shot or I don't know, caught in an explosion.
So and a lot of us were a little shocked in the games, way back when they come out like 15, 20 years ago.
90s.
How the fuck did Bama
Yeah.
lose to Vanderbilt? How did the Tide lose to Vanderbilt? Wow.
Dude, how did Mizzou? And I'm not the biggest Mizzou fan. I get they lost to Texas A&M. They lost by 31, and I'm like,
That's bad. But Bama lost by 5, but had no business with.
I love
and
them at all.
what's funny, William, is Bama beat Virginia Tech earlier this year, and they lost to Mizzou by 3. So their whole season has just been weird.
UNLV got ripped off last night. They had a bad PI call. Oh, the dude threw the ball behind them.
Wonder Woman, good there, man.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
just-
then,
Superman there too.
and then that ended up leading to a score. So
Venom
So
last season.
one of the best things I've seen, William, was on Facebook, and somebody told that quarterback that I'm sure you saw left the team or whatever.
You should be an animator, Drogo. You'll be really good at it.
And I told
Yeah,
him it's UNLV, not UNIL.
yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like nobody told you were gonna be paid like an extra $200
$100,000 for college football.
And,
Yeah,
dude, and he was a 4-year starter at Holy Cross. So I don't know
really?
like what that was all about.
UNLV don't got that kind of money. Be paying people like that. Not these days. Would someone be stuffed in the fridge in the Lantern show? Maybe. Oh yeah. It's no longer shocking to do that. I mean, it was shocking when it happened in Green Lantern 52, I think it was back in 94, 95. But now, I mean, it's on HBO. Should an HBO series? Like I said, once again, just the fact that they're doing this on HBO shows me there's going to be a certain adult level that this is going to be at, because they just don't do kid shit on that spot. It just doesn't happen.
Who's the showrunner of that, William?
Damon Lindelof.
The Watchmen guy.
Yeah, he did Prometheus.
But even he can have a bad day at the office because Lost sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not.
Lost
I mean,
offensively
yeah,
bad.
Lost, but he also did Prometheus and World War Z. Like he's a good writer. That guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but I the people who sat through Lost and got to that ending.
By the way, William,
William, which ending is worse, Lost or Dexter?
Well, Dexter had 2 bad endings, so I'm going to go with Dexter.
And by the way, speaking of going back to what we were saying a minute ago about Sonic, because we were talking a little bit about Jim Carrey's career a few nights ago, and he is returning as a Robotnik in this one,
and he's going to be playing Gerald Robotnik.
By the way, he is absolutely perfect.
Sorry, I was dealing with a heart attack. I was watching my Hurricanes just come back from 38 points down to win 39-38 against Cal.
Miami?
Yeah.
Damn, I think that ties to. I know the longest comeback is like 35 or 38 in college.
Oh, wow. 39-38. And they're undefeated now. They may move up because Bama lost. Georgia won. Ohio State played Iowa again, like for the 10th time this year.
This is a Heisman performance from Ward, to be honest. I think he wins the Heisman over Milroe.
I think the guy that wins the Heisman is Genty, that running back from Boise State. He's running for like 4 or 5 touchdowns a game.
Wow, it's going to be a rough Sunday for some of these teams when they look at their standings.
William, why do you think that so many people take Rotten Tomatoes like so seriously?
Because we've been programmed.
Because
we've
it's
been
trendy and it makes people popular.
I think in my opinion, I think it's because we don't really have.
Because I was having this conversation with someone that I was telling them to watch I Am Sam, but he said that it had a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, dude, what does it matter, dude? Yeah. It's just a stupid rating. Like, it's a good film. Like 30%.
Everybody has their own criteria that makes them happy about a movie. Somebody else's criteria may not be mine or yours, and that's what I'm always saying. I'm like,
and Chappie, I don't really trust it. I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes with an ounce of my being, because the former head of that company even said they have had issues with full review bombing or people hacking into the system to be able to what's it called? Put reviews ahead before the movies even come out and stuff like
That's
that.
impossible. You can't leave a review for the movie before it comes out.
No. What the guy who owned Rotten Tomatoes before said, the
Critics
system.
can. Critics can leave the movie.
See, what happened was when the Captain Marvel came out, there was a review of, do you want to see this movie, yes or no? Please tell us why. And then that got review bombed, but people were allowed to say whatever they wanted to say on that before the movie came out. And so the trades were saying it just got review bombed. And so people thought that they were reviewing the movie before the movie came out, but that wasn't true. And that's when they started changing all the rules for Rotten Tomatoes.
But here's one rule that the consumer can change on their own. Just don't fucking listen to them. Just don't regard it. It's just.
Unfortunately, that's not everybody. Some people need that word of mouth because they're kind of indecisive. Of like we're talking about people like us that we kind of know like what's hip in theaters, or we're kind of tuned in. They're just people that Bob Beerbelly and Jane Housewife or whatever just want to know what's out there.
Yeah,
and those are people that you have to reach.
No, and fourth, when it comes to the Captain Marvel situation, the people who were review bombing that were people with an agenda that couldn't stand that it was a female, like these idiots who were constantly putting reviews saying like these sexist comments.
Looking at you, Brad. I'm just fucking around.
By the way, on that, we have somebody else join the panel here tonight. Hi, William.
What's going on, William? Young William. That's that whole Kang episode of the Sci-Fi Center. If you missed it,
Whoever this is, you got 20 seconds.
Break down that fucking image on the internet. I've seen that image.
Yeah, I've seen because like when I first started talking,
that was William in his Ernie Hudson days.
Well, when William and I first like made contact, I think I might have eaten this before because I'd seen him.
Yeah,
on other streams before. I just kind of Googled Sci-Fi Center. So I've seen a few interviews William had done where people just like come and say, "Hey, what's the Sci-Fi Center all about?" And that was before he was doing it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm on the cover of magazines, man.
I was gonna add.
William, we need to know what William has. We need to know what you have.
He's on the cover of Sci-Fi Center Weekly.
I am doing okay. I was 6531. Like I said, I meant to do a recorded stream.
Oh wow.
And just give you guys my quick.
Goodbye.
Oh,
you got AI, William.
We're not letting this guy go until we find out who he is. By the way,
well, next time he shows up, I'm going to ban him. So,
William, you can be in two places at one time. You're tackling the algorithm.
William Kang Powell. We already saw this episode. It was during a storm when William showed us the story.
Can you imagine? Just real quick. Can you imagine having that much time in your life? And also, I was going to add. I think back in the day, before the internet and all that, people kind of trusted, let's say Roger, what is it?
Ebert. Roger Ebert.
Those because they didn't.
Roger Ebert was one of the few good film critics out there that I actually liked.
Go ahead and finish real quick, Fitz.
They didn't go into everything trying to hate it.
Yeah.
They gave you, their honest opinion, and I think people kind of miss that, and maybe they're going in.
He spoiled things a lot too.
Yeah.
They did have some bad takes.
Well, Roger Ebert didn't like Die Hard.
They were honestly their takes.
Somebody brought up the horror movie Wolf Creek. Roger Ebert went on a tirade about how that movie was made by a misogynist and like slammed the director took extracurricular writing activities to go out and slam that director for being a misogynist just based on the movie alone. So he's not without.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I think since the world, like this world of movies has become so polarized, I think that's why it's been so divided when it comes to movie reviewing and stuff like that. That the people think their opinion is more important than other people's opinions, or like they have this diluted self-important view of themselves, thinking they're the smartest person in the room and stuff like that. Do you agree, William, or am I being too harsh? Hello.
But
Their
yes,
personality,
Aaron,
their personality on their platforms, it makes that a necessity.
yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck about the tree that falls in the forest when nobody's around. You got to make noise. You just can't give an opinion. You got to make it. You got to put certain words in there to to make people to get clicks.
Do you
Did you
also
just
see-
destroy the tree in the forest philosophy, William? I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
These are William Proverbs right here.
Right. Instead of a
Well,
tree
let me
falls in
read-
the
guys,
forest
let
and
me read
nobody's
off
there to
Aaron's
hear, it doesn't
post
matter. William, or it doesn't really make a sound. William says, "Who gives a fuck about the tree if it fell in the forest?"
Yeah, you got to make it's the nature of the business these days. If you just came out and gave an opinion and said the movie wasn't for me, but maybe you'll enjoy it, you're gonna end up you can't pay your bills on that. You got to get clicks, and that's where we're at today. Whether it be on TikTok, YouTube, anywhere, you have to make a noise. Some people are honest brokers. Some people are honest brokers, but the vast majority
those
of
are
these
the
guys,
woke grifters. Those are those people that scream
but it's
woke.
also the audience's fault. I blame the audience. If you're dumb enough to listen to some of this shit, then you can't. You're a
You should
grown
be
ass.
the next Zaslav, William. I can't bring that attitude right to the table.
Hey, did you guys hear that news that apparently all the studios were
Wait a minute,
gathering
guys.
around?
Aaron's got something to say here. Everybody, shut the hell up for a second. All right.
Sorry.
That's it.
Just interrupt Happy.
All right. Yes, I did.
I didn't care enough about Angel for the beginning, middle, or end to end it, but I will agree with Sopranos ending was stupid.
I like the ending of Sopranos. That wasn't that bad. That was more divisive.
That pissed me
Nice,
off.
guys.
I thought something was wrong with my TV when he did that. They pulled that shit back.
You guys will not step on the toes of my baby sister there.
I'm
What were
sorry.
you saying,
Chappie,
Chappie?
Well, no, I was gonna say, did you guys hear about that news that apparently all the studios were gathering around to focus on toxic fandom?
I don't believe that's true. I don't even believe that that's true, and if it is, it's
But
stupid.
is that true, or is that just some BS rumor?
I think it's stupid. I think it's a BS rumor, personally.
Yeah.
Nobody. They know better. They know enough to where they know that the sampling that they need is not going to come from.
Well, and
from
the
an
other thing too is this is more of a me thing on this, but I'm
Does
just
it
tired.
really matter?
I'm just tired of hearing lectures about toxic behavior from studios when we can point to examples of really shady shit they've done, and it's so you guys pulled all this stuff behind the scenes, and you're gonna lecture me on toxic fandom.
You just know they're just gonna get big social media influences.
This comes
What
with the
does Ja Rule
territory. Actually, Chappie, you were saying something before me. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say anything.
I'd say this kind of comes with the territory. If you're dealing with IPs that go back 40, 50 years ago, you're going to get people who like it one way versus another way versus the new way and the old way. And that's just what you're going to get with all this stuff. So
What I find hilarious is that people accuse Disney of pushing a woke agenda, but it seems like that woke agenda made them billions of dollars.
Well, look at most of the. Whenever I hear somebody say "woke," first of all, I see a club and a caveman. But look at the vast majority of the people who spout that shit are people who have always been represented by things. So most of it I dismiss because it's generally anything that's different from what they've always
The
had.
Neanderthals.
It's like, oh, it's just woke. I'm like, for somebody who's been marginalized or never been represented on any of these platforms or any of these movies or shows, that's not woke to you. That's recognition of something you've been a part of forever. So you've taken their money. You've taken their money, but now it's an agenda when those people want to be represented. That's bullshit.
Well, sometimes agendas are pushed, let's be honest.
One at a time, guys.
Agendas are pushed, but most of the time it's the people over-exaggerating.
Go ahead, Forrest.
I'll say this, that as much as we despise Joss Whedon, he said the correct thing. Once you go political, you divide your audience in half, and Disney's played that game. So,
see, representation is not that's bullshit because representation is not political.
No,
assholes make it political.
When you start tying it to feminism and stuff like that, and people have disagreements with it,
when you start tying it to women is when they have an issue with that. Feminism is part of the world. Feminism is part of the world before there was politics, before they even were running around in togas. So it's like it's who's determining what's political is where the bullshit starts to pile up.
You can't even say that you like feminist movies because if you like feminist movies, So like I was gonna say, like, you can't even say that like you like feminist movies anymore, because if you like feminist movies, then you'll get attacked online.
But like,
So
once
it's like,
again, who defines this bullshit? Look who's defining this bullshit, and there's your problem most of the times.
It's usually these idiot like the I'm calling it out. It's the,
Right, but look at it this way. Look at it this way, Anthony. Before you get on a roll, you can share your opinion, but like, let's say you disagree with the way somebody else thinks. Starting out the sentence by
Good
calling
job,
them an
bro. Good
idiot
job, man.
is probably the least effective way to get your point across to them. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not try with the pejorative and the ad hominem. I'm
Yeah.
not saying on one side or the other, but it just
and-
you know,
yeah,
it's part of the polarization.
And that
You know what I mean?
that can't be stated. I think that does.
Some of these
that
guys
gets-
they're polarized no matter what.
that
though.
does
They
get over
they
that.
can be polarized in a room by themselves.
I'm with it, William. I'm not about the crybabies either, but we shouldn't go in a room with the pejoratives, because then it creates the same
Yeah,
issue
you know,
that
if you're
Create
leading
something
if
that's
you're
already been
leading
created.
if
You're
you're
right,
leading
you're
with
right.
if
I
you're
mean,
leading
come
with
on now.
finger pointing and you're a bad person, you know, if you and you're
Well,
a
if you're an
racist or a
asshole and
misogynist.
if you're a bad person,
But most fools will run their mouth and lead themselves to their own demise. If you let them run their mouth, they
Yeah,
usually.
exactly.
Well, they
I mean, it's
identify
not
themselves
always.
as who
It's
they
not
are.
always the right
Yeah,
answer, of
so-
Yeah,
course.
we
yeah,
don't
so
have to listen to everybody.
That's
we don't
right.
have to listen to these.
But so don't start from the of like this and you're an idiot unless it's Clint telling me the scary movie is awesome.
yeah.
That's okay.
No, but
that movie is
well, the people who I'm gonna target is
Hold
these.
on, I'm already tired of this topic. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I just say that, William, when the Disney plays their base to the Christian conservatives, then they go, then they make one group mad, and then they switch over to the other group, then the Christian conservatives get mad. So
That's
like,
when you say fuck it. You call everybody out. You think people are just going to walk away from a lot of these things? Most people are full of shit. They just want to be.
and that's
heard.
still a political move. If you
that's the one truth, William. Most people are full of
Yeah,
shit.
that's not political. That's just human nature. That's not political
Yeah.
at all. That's human nature. That's what it is. Okay, let's. I don't. This topic is it could go on forever,
banned.
and I'm tired. Not even bad. It's just it's not
So-
going to go anywhere. Sorry.
So how did you enjoy the end of Absolute Power as compared to the All In?
All in was much more.
Real quick,
Okay, I
before we
still
get
haven't
into
read
that,
the fourth one.
Real quick before we get
So-
into that, I just want to read Aaron's comment here. What Roger Ebert didn't know that Wolf Creek was based on a true story that happened in the Outback. Should have done his research. That's true. Now it's still a really unsettling movie, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that violent though. Maybe it's just me, but I wasn't really that.
That violence in that movie is kind of subdued. I've seen movies go a lot further. and
Yeah,
actually,
me too.
They implied a lot of stuff. I've watched movies that showed the stuff. I mean, you see all kinds.
There's
I mean,
fourth 2000 on the screen right now.
what?
Fourth 2000 on the screen right now.
All right, I got an alternate.
Yeah, it has a different
Is that
face than
just,
you have.
Which one is you?
Say,
No, they're
say some
both
fourth
fourth.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the
fourth.
one that's cropped in. Well, the one that's talking is
Well,
me
it's
right
probably it's probably William with another face now.
Hey, Vince, are you still there, Vince? Vince, we got to start getting rid of people when they're starting to do this. It's.
He said he hopped off.
now. Oh man, I was looking good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kick.
Axel, on your avatar there, is that supposed to be you and
William, do
Keanu
we have
Reeves, or is
chicken?
what is that?
yeah, Droga, he's asking you about your avatar.
Your avatar on your YouTube, is that you and Keanu Reeves on your render in your drawing there? Was that supposed to be, or
that's
am I
just a character I made up with a friend.
Okay, cool.
I wonder we're gonna see
Yeah,
like,
his
Tell us
is
something
my
about
doppelganger. Okay.
Actually, you
Hey,
trying to
what's
be
his name?
cartoonist or artist or what?
His name is Butter Chicken because everyone likes him.
Butter chicken, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something I made up back in year 8. So
And-
yeah.
Hey, William, I know it seems like for Spider-Man, they moved away from the street level thing now, but and they're setting up the storyline where Kingpin becomes mayor during the Daredevil thing. But is there a mob boss in Marvel Comics? You know how they do with the Penguin, where he basically is killing off all the mob bosses to take power?
You got
have a lot of
Superman,
them,
you got Hammerhead, you got.
Yeah,
What's that white dude called? Isn't there like a white dude out there too?
They're all white.
Tombstone.
You're talking about Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jerome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just not the stories that do the best in Spider-Man these days. They keep a lot of that in Daredevil. Like I said, Kingpin is not a Spider-Man enemy anymore. He really is.
Barely.
He's been
Even though
in
recently
Daredevil
they got into it, right? Last 2
You're
months.
going in and out with them.
What's up? Yeah, I don't consider Kingpin. I don't. In fact, I don't like seeing Kingpin in Spider-Man stories.
I don't consider Deathstroke a Batman villain. No, I'm kidding.
He really isn't. He's a Titan villain.
He's
a
everyone's enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
He's
know
a
who does
droga
consider
villain.
him a Batman villain though? Marv Wolfman.
Hey, William, you excited about the Bane and Deathstroke movie?
Yeah, I don't think that's real.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist if he doesn't like it.
That's a good segue. I'll admit,
No,
like,
I don't think it's
What
real.
is it about Bane
And
you
no.
hate so much? Bane is such a
I've
cool
already
character.
explained that nauseum.
Yeah, can we not have William explain it again for like the
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
a tree falling in the
time?
desert?
We just
It's
had to hear all
as
this.
valid as the first time I said it. They're bullshit enemies
Yeah,
that lazy.
we already had to sit through
lazy
his nonsense with Doomsday, so a minute ago.
Yeah,
But
and like I said, I pity people who came up in an era
We just lose here.
that think those are great enemies. They're not.
Fun has questions about the Teen Titans movie. I think the
Hey, Vince,
Supergirl
real
writer.
quick. Vince, duplicates that come up, just get rid of them, please, if you can.
No, well, except for
Yeah,
me.
please.
Except if we see
No,
like
if
other,
it's-
like
we
the
know
other
who
media
our
ones.
people
Funny
are
when
on
they're
the
in the
screen.
chat, but not on the
Yeah,
screen.
when they start coming up on the screen and when they start coming in the chat, just bounce them.
No,
I
I
could
want to know
say,
who this
like,
is.
sometimes
I
it's
don't
gonna
care.
be.
I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. Just get rid of them because they're
Except
going to
William's
out of this
pants.
channel.
Yeah,
No, but when
William's
they start
pants.
coming up as fourth 1,000 or somebody on the panel or they start being mimicking people in the chat, just get rid of
Yeah.
them.
The only thing I could say is like sometimes somebody might join from their
Phone.
PC and then their phone. That's why I wouldn't
Yeah.
jump to.
If you can verify that it's a spoof or something like that, then just go ahead and ban them.
Yeah, that's why I just jumped in the background. Like,
Okay.
I was just,
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just
the weird,
kind of like Stella used to do, with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, the
'cause
weird
eventually
question
it'll
is,
get out of
what
hand
do
and it's going to
you
get
do
stupid.
with a Deathstroke and Bane movie?
What's that?
Yeah,
But the
what's up?
weird question is, what do you do with a Deathstroke and Bane movie?
I don't
then?
think that's
There's a
real
lot you
either.
could do with
Yeah.
the deaths. You could do a Secret Six movie. You could do a Gotham
That's
City
what a lot of people are
villains
saying with it.
movie. You
Well,
could
it's-
do a stupid Suicide Squad movie again. You could do a Legion of Doom setup movie. You could do a few things with
All
that.
things.
So.
Dude, I'm literally getting nauseous thinking
Well,
about
and
all
see the
these.
thing, because I'm with William about the whole. Well, I'm not with him about the character, but
The
I am with
character
him.
is shit, but yeah,
But
go ahead.
I am with him about these. Like it kind of reminds me of like the Hamada era when it's like we were just getting announced as like New Gods and Plastic Man and this and that. All these things that just get announced that they just never happen. I'm really starting to get reminders of that now with these last couple announcements we got.
And it's time
But
for
now, Brad-
Jenny and the editors and everybody who's involved in this content. Well, every
To get
time they come
involved.
in with one of these rehashes, the first question that come out of your boss's mouth when you come in with this bullshit is this the only fucking enemy that this character has?
See, this is what I was just
Fuck
gonna
am I
you
bring
paying
say,
up.
for?
well, you say that
Brad,
when
Brad,
they,
Brad,
when they hit
Brad,
stuff like,
Brad,
we didn't
this-
fight before.
Brad,
Once
this
or
is kind
twice.
of this is what I wanted. This is
If
great that
that.
you guys are talking about this because this is something William brought up earlier, and I see his point, and I also see what you're getting at too, Brad. But when you brought up Doomsday Death of Superman arc, yes, it's come up once in a movie, once on a TV show, and twice or three times in the movies they do, in the animated movies they do.
Yeah.
So they do lean on it a lot for one. And another thing is in New 52, they did the Doomsday virus with Superman, and New 52
Oh, yeah.
Superman. It's silly. It's such a bad story.
Yeah, that
but
wasn't
here,
bad at
But it looks
so
super
like
cool.
they do in the last 20 years, they basically since Doomsday has come out, they have leaned into that character a lot. So William's point, Superman may not have like as famous as a rogues gallery as Batman, of course, but he has a lot of interesting enemies. And going back to Doomsday, or even like I like Brainiac, and they don't show enough in shows, but they lean on Brainiac too much in the broader scheme of
Well, the
things.
thing that's a letdown is they haven't shown him in any movies yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I
Well, we
can
were
live with
close
that.
to getting him in a Henry Cavill
But-
one.
But
Which
just
isn't
with that
going to
aside,
happen.
when they did New 52, they took that entire run and instead of going back into Superman's rogues and trying to rebuild them, they made every villain basically the same strength level as Clark, that they like an original villain, for him to fight every arc. It was terrible. So and then Lex Luthor became Superman. It was just a stupid, stupid.
Yeah, for me, I think they need to for the new Superman movie. To be honest, I wish they announced that they were doing the Anti-Monitor for him.
That's
too
all.
big.
That's
Yeah,
all
you don't
DC
want
villain
that.
thing.
Shooting pretty high there. You're,
Stay on Superman's level. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to go to these universe enders. You got Mongol. That's a straight up fight Superman can have on Battle World. That's an interesting story. You can have other secondary and tertiary characters in there.
Metallo.
Do you think if it
Metallo,
makes like
Cyborg Superman. I
This
mean, if
is
you're
what
gonna
I-
sit here
before,
and
before
do
you come
the
into my office, with the Doomsday or a Bane, this is the kind of conversation that you're literally being paid to have.
right, have a recurring Zod saga that doesn't end with Zod getting defeated in one movie or the end of one movie, or have him show up at the end of one movie or the beginning of one movie and then pay off in the next movie. Have a whole saga where Zod's a recurring villain for Superman plus whatever other problems Metropolis or the world's dealing with on a whole, including
We're doing this
supervillains.
for free on YouTube.
You know what
They
I'm
get
saying?
paid to do
There's a
this.
lot you can do. I mean, they made villains up in the last 20 years like Livewire. Livewire is a pretty deep.
Yeah.
You Killer Frost. That's not really technically a Superman villain, but the point is, you got there are pretty cool characters in DC you can really run
And
with.
Manchester Black.
Manchester Black, the whole squad there, exactly. Vandal Savage. Come on, guys.
Oh, that Vandal Savage would be a good one. Brad,
Hey, guys.
that's the one. That's the one thing I can.
You can tell for.
Bruno
That's the one thing I can go against with Zach's universe. He killed Zod too soon. You agree?
I mean, it was fine for what you get out of it, but you could do something where you have Zod play more of a long game. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I did appreciate them bringing him back in the Flash because I did say as much as even for for me for liking Man of Steel being for having as much being as enamored with that as I was, I did say after that if possible I would like to see Zod as Zod one more, because they turned him into Doomsday in BVS, but I would like to see him as Zod one more time. And of course, we got that in the Flash. It's a parallel universe, but it's still it's Zod
Parallax?
as Zod again. Say again?
Is that what you think we're gonna see with the Lantern show that
Is Parallax?
No, with not
Greg
Kyle
Berlanti?
Rayner, Hal Jordan in the show. Are we gonna see him as Parallax by the time the show happens? Is he?
No, probably not, because if they're just look at it this way, right? If you're setting up a show with Hal Jordan in it and you want to introduce the other Lanterns, then you probably would have it at least by the end of the show or some stage in the show that they're with the rest of the Green Lanterns, or you get an idea what the Green Lanterns are like successful. Then if you want to do a downfall into Parallax, you can do that. But what if they want to like set it up into something like, again, we're doing the same thing with Doomsday. We're talking about Parallax every time we're talking about Green Lantern. Well, we could talk about the other Lantern Corps. We could talk about the Black Lantern, Darkest Night thing. Maybe that's the overall problem.
That's more of like a big crossover. with
That's
the
what I'm saying. You can build up to that in the whole Lantern saga and have that be the overarching thing in DC. I mean, and I'm not saying do it, but I'm just saying we got other options besides going into Parallax. And like I said, or like Brad said here, Sinestro, the other Lantern Corps, the Red Lanterns,
The reason why I brought up Parallax, Spidey, is because the way they're describing how in this series he's already jaded and stuff like that. And isn't that the point of
that could be part of it, or he could just, if you're jaded, he's seen a lot of shit, and now he's got a younger partner or a more green partner. Pardon the pun, but a more green partner next to him, and so that's rubbing off, kind of like Training Day or something like that. The way Denzel Washington's character was to Ethan Hawke's character, in a sense, maybe not so manipulative, but or maybe you're onto something. Who knows? What were you saying, Droga?
I just said he's saying shit that will turn you white. It's a bad joke.
Quoting
Isn't that from
Ghostbusters
like a
there.
movie or some shit? I don't know.
Yes, it's from Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Williams is
Williams making money late at night. That's that DC. That's that all in right now. He's eating right now.
I still gotta go to the Sci-Fi Center one day.
When can we see Williams' pants?
You got to make your pilgrimage now, Chappie. Start walking.
I wonder if Williams
do
Pants is
a-
gonna be like the next impersonator. We actually hear the voice of Williams Pants, kind of like I'm on the show. But yeah, you suggested a minute ago, Spidey. Livewire was actually one I thought could be good, either like Henry Cavill Superman, because the idea that she starts out as a radio shock jock and she's really
Oh
demonized
yeah,
on
and
air.
she could be like
Wasn't that
one
going to
of
be the
those
sequel?
annoying ass Twitter people.
Wait a second, Chad.
It's like, oh, he's too dark. Like,
Yeah. Well, and because she's kind of like for Superman the equivalent of like Harley Quinn is to Batman, because she originated on Superman the animated series and they worked her in the comics later, and she had this really cool origin on the show that I loved, where it was, she was hosting this concert during this thunderstorm in Metropolis, and Superman arrives to tell her, hey, like, this is not safe, and then the storm like really picks up, the lightning is going up, so people try to get out of there, and she's running away, and lightning strikes the stage, and it runs down this wire that Superman's foot is on, and it zaps into her. So it was
only time in that point of the series Superman didn't get hurt by electricity. By the way,
yeah, they kind of make Superman series. They kind of make like electricity.
Not until, like I said, not until the second season of Justice League did he start being the true power Superman, or at least the more true power.
And Aaron is that? Well, we're gonna need to wait for William to come back on. I think, what did he suggest when we finish up Night of the Living Dead? Is the next one? Because
He said Werewolf in Paris.
Okay, yeah,
American Werewolf in Paris. I don't know.
Have you guys? When are you guys gonna do the 30 Days of Night watch along?
When are
we already did that.
No,
I was going to say, I was going to
No.
ask William if we can do this at nighttime. Maybe Jennifer's Body.
He's been
that's when
asking
we
that
still
for
gotta
a
watch.
year. You've been asking for that for a year. You got to do it.
Or The Devil Inside?
Brad Hunter's pretty much asking the same thing. Like, this is it be like a Secret Six kind of idea? That's what I was thinking it could be.
Again, it's like this. It just feels so random. Like, I don't even know if I trust.
And it just feels like another Suicide Squad. It just feels like an excuse.
I don't believe. Honestly, I don't believe that rumor.
And that
Yeah, I
means
don't
it's
either.
true. So
It's just a rumor then, but they do love their Suicide Squad movies. Wouldn't you say, Droger?
Yeah.
That's what I worried about with James Gunn taking head of DC. He's gonna be doing all these really obscure characters. Like,
well, that's why I'm not that I'm just not that big on his work anyway, because he just gets stuck in that Guardians rut so frequently, where it's like
You should check out Super, Brad. Have you ever seen Super?
I haven't, no.
Check that out.
Super's good. Super's underrated.
But it's like so much of his
it's low
body
budget,
work-
but it's good. It's good.
Well, so much of his work like kind of follows the Guardians template of, it's like we got like this band of misfits and they all don't like each other, but they're going on a mission to take down this common enemy.
Yeah, it's really
His
annoying.
Suicide
The one
Squad
thing
is overrated.
Also,
That sounds like fun to me.
Now, Brad, what if
Sounds like a good time, huh?
what if the writer for the writer director from the Deathstroke movie comes back on this from the Raid?
If they got Gareth Evans on it,
Yeah.
yeah. See,
honestly, Strahovski would be a good Deathstroke director.
Well, that's another thing. It's like I always point to with like the incompetence of the studio up to this point. It's like you could put in the trailer. You could have put in the trailer from the director of the fucking Raid movies, and they said, nah, not interested.
Well, you got to
you know
remember
they're
that's all
gonna have
because of Justice
directed
League.
from the
That kind of
director of
screwed everything
Guardians
up.
of the
So.
Galaxy like 20 fucking times in the
Oh yeah, they
Superman
are. They are.
trailer, right?
Well, that's not. I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's whether you're a fan of Gunn or whether you're a fan of the Guards. I mean, that's just smart marketing.
If Gunn directed the Raid 3, Brad, would you watch it?
I don't think he'd ever do anything like the Raid 3.
I don't think he knows what that is.
It's interesting you mentioned that because one thing I'm really looking forward to on Netflix in about 2 weeks here is anybody familiar? You've seen the trailer?
William looks dejected. He just sold a comic and now he's upset. He just
probably just sold the Death of Superman, the Reign of Superman, with a whole bunch of Bane and Batman.
He got out of the comic sale and we were talking about the Raid, so that's.
But has anybody seen the trailer? Are you familiar with something called the Shadow Strays?
No.
I saw you and Perp talking about it on Discord.
Yeah, because that's another one from Indonesia. The my boy Timo Jahanto is behind it. He's the guy who did Headshot and He co-directed that with Kimo Stembo, and he's also did The Night Comes for Us. So
Okay.
I'm really, and the early word on it is really phenomenal. So the trailer looks amazing. God,
When does it drop?
I think on the 17th. So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of the only things for this year, I think, for me that has like that has any kind of legit shot at topping Life After Fighting, and that's a high bar to clear for me. Anyway,
What about
it's,
Monkey Man? Monkey Man on Life After Fighting level for you or no?
Monkey Man was very good, but it's like Life After Fighting. That.
What
How
about
about Boys
Beekeeper?
Kills World?
It's just, a lot. It's just that last.
He was catching them. He was catching them pretty good in Life After Fighting. He was fucking people up.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Beekeeper, Monkey Man, really, Boy Kills World, Twilight of the Warriors, like a lot of like the action martial arts. My genre. This year I've actually told people it's been kind of like really very good for fans of mine.
Do you guys think we're gonna ever see another Ip Man?
No, we are. Yeah. That Ip Man 5 that is in the works. Yes.
Another what man?
Ip Man. Bruce
You
Lee's
mean
team.
Agent 47?
No, Ip Man with Donnie Yen.
That's a Hitman. I was like, what?
Yeah, where
Agent 37 Drogo could
that's
take
good,
down
man.
Agent 47. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ip Man. That's the series where Donnie Yen plays Bruce Lee's teacher. And it's interesting. In fact, I brought this up with William kind of in
And
the
he killed a general. He killed a Japanese general during World War II in a fist fight.
Listen, it's like I love the series. The thing you got to realize about like a lot of Hong Kong and Chinese like period movies. The way I put it is that they're not so big over there on biopics or historical. They do more kind of fan fiction. Is what they do with like a lot of these historical characters. So like the Ip Man movies, like it's like 95% BS.
Yeah, we got Clint in the
There is no
house.
evil Superman in this storyline. They're both.
I think
good.
he's talking about the way you see how the way that the dark side world was made, right? And what he said about the world, and then you see the shot of Superman, whatever that is supposed to be. There are certain things that Darkseid won't allow in that existence. And a lot of those things are the elements that give the superheroes their characteristics, because you can't stop.
But
those
they're still
superheroes
going
from
to become what they
manifesting.
were going to become. They just do it
Okay.
in a harsher circumstance. So
I think that Darkseid's going to try to raise that world as an army against our world.
Okay, and William, actually, that's actually probably a good segue on that, because you've been very much an advocate of the Absolute Universe, not just in terms of like its merit storytelling wise, and also like its impact on DC Comics, but just you're talking about you've talked about it in terms of like this is what like the mindset for the entire company should be.
It should be the blueprint of how DC handles their projects. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
they put all the gas behind it they were supposed to put, and
they communicated it. They communicated it properly. They got behind it properly. They explained it.
If they would have promoted their movies last year that well,
yeah,
And the biggest thing about it is it's alongside and not instead of. We didn't destroy something to create.
Exactly.
And that's what you said a lot of it. It's like you've drawn a correlation, of course, with like you've drawn a correlation like with anybody who's like, I mean, let's put it out there. If anybody wants, like, hey, we got cut off on the Snyder story. Here's you said like this is like, you said like if you want some version of that, this is like something to support.
Yeah, it shows people
I doubt that though.
Didn't really know better.
But again, that's what I'm curious about, because and not just with him, but like just with any other avenue with the company, just like you got correlation, like okay, like how does like the success of this like translate to a similar sort of mindset, TV, movies, animation, video games?
Well, it's going to be money. It's going to be money. The way they're doing things now is stupid. The one universe at a time thing is stupid. If you come into the office, if you come into the office and that is your, hey, I want to blow this up to replace it with this, or we can't do this because of this, or the customers will be confused. You're basically telling me why I should never hire you, and if you're under my payroll, why I should fire you before you get a chance to finish your sentence.
And if a universe isn't working, you can just destroy that universe. You don't have to destroy the entire multiverse and everything along with it.
Yeah, you can go away from certain things. You don't have to put the spotlight.
You can do what Ultimate Marvel did with Ultimatum, whether you like it or not. They folded Ultimate into Marvel and destroyed the universe for a while. So
and then brought Ultimate back.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Well,
how much do you think that Superman needs to make for it to be successful?
there's a lot. There's too many factors that
Well,
we'll
it's like,
never
you
know.
we're not in that boardroom, so it's like that's their. I mean, that relates to like
Because
budget.
the
that relates
budget's
to-
onto 100 million, that means it needs to make up to 500 million or 600.
It has to. No, there's no way it's not. It's just 100 million even. It's like if it's only 100.
It's 120. Its minimum is 125, and that's. I think it's around 185 is what you're going to if you go by the industry standard. But you have to. There's too many factors in that don't really. That don't
That
really.
shit's gonna look like a Netflix movie if it's 100 million.
Yeah, it's just not there's too many factors that will, like I said, you can't really comprehend.
It's
At
gonna
this
look
point.
like Salem's Lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh God, you were having fun with all the blades. Like this is like rubber blade.
Please don't remind me of that movie.
You didn't like it, Vince?
No.
What's up?
I told one
going on,
person in the
Clint?
chat watching paint dry might have been more entertaining.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that really wasn't very good.
William, I got when we're done, can I get you for like a minute?
Yeah, we're about to wrap this up here in about 5 minutes. So yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that was something I did want to ask because you've been very much an advocate of that, William. Is again, this is like the I don't know what's the opposite of the canary in the coal mine, or like canary in the coal mine in a good way.
Well, it's a harbinger of the way things should be done.
Yeah.
You really should have never. There should have never been an issue with what Zack Snyder was doing, because you could consolidate one and focus on another and end it, and not sloppily do things. And the same thing and now you see that happening, with Matt Reeves stuff. Everybody was telling me, Matt Reeves and stuff is not going to do this, not going to do that, and James Gunn will never let. And we let people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about be the loudest people in the room. James Gunn works for somebody. He works within a structure. So does Matt Reeves. If there's money being made, it doesn't matter what fanboys think. If there's money being made where money needs to be made, then that's the direction you go in. If DC all in and absolute DC, there's money being made, then you adopt that and you try to take the things about it that made it work and apply them to your platforms. You don't listen to knuckleheads who are like, well, let so-and-so cook. I hear that every time. I'm like, and it's usually somebody who's just parroting some bullshit. Start following the math. Right now with DC, they've sold out. They're selling out this book.
Yeah, they're off to a hell of a start with this.
So now you apply this, and you have other things like the Penguin and what Matt Reeves is doing. Now we know that James Gunn is doing his own thing, but yet we could still make money with this other thing. And that's a mentality that you wouldn't have gotten this 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you would not have gotten the environment we have now, because the people who were running it were too stupid, and they did not have that kind of connection. And then fans just followed them down that rabbit hole and just parroted the same stupid shit that they actually did. That's why when the whole thing, we can only have one Batman at a time. The fuck are you talking about? Like I said, I would throw you out if I wouldn't go down for murder. You come in and tell me one Batman at a time, you're going through the window.
Or he'll send Ruth after you, and then it'll be over.
That's malfeasance. You do not belong in an organization that is charged with making a profit if you think like that. And that's what they've done, and that's why they are where they're at. So hopefully we're at a turning point. What's up?
I said I say one Batman at a time.
No, it doesn't work. And you'd be out of the office. You'd be like, look out below.
To the end, to the mail room with you forth.
No, if you tell me into my office and seriously give me some shit like that, I don't want you in the mailroom, because there's a chance in the mailroom that knuckleheadedness could spread. I want you out of the building. I want you working for somebody whose business I don't.
Damn, he doesn't even get to feed his family, William. Not even a little bit.
No.
Damn.
Listen, not everybody can operate at that level. Not everybody can operate at that level. The previous regime of Warner Brothers showed you not everybody can operate at that level. So why would I want more bad ideas just being spread?
Yeah, but would you want a Batman Beyond anime series or no?
If you could come back with an analysis that it could make me money, yeah, let's do it.
Because like those concept art looked really good. So,
you're going to need to come in, like I said, don't come in with what I would like to see or what I think would really be cool. You're going to have to come in with what Scott Snyder came in to Jim Lee with, which was a game plan and a blueprint that would make the company money and an idea behind it.
Rational Skeptic has two counterpoints for you, William. So as you speak, there's somebody that's really go back one more up before he does that. He says, William, Marvel only does one Iron Man and one Captain
We're not
America
talking about Marvel. See, that's
I understand where you're coming from, but
this is the flaw in that mentality. We're not talking about Marvel. You have to
Yeah, we are.
understand who you're working for, where you're working for, and what you're doing. If you can't do that, if you come in, once again, you're going out the window. You come into the office, tell me what Marvel's doing. You better hope we're on the second floor so it doesn't hurt that bad. That's where you're going, because that's where that mentality belongs. If you're working for DC, work for DC. Operate and function within the environment that you are walking into. I don't, like I said, what Kevin Feige's doing over there, there are certain things you can apply. Most of the things that apply to their core characters, you cannot. You do not have the same lineage. You do not have the same DNA and the genesis that these characters came about in. And you need to operate like that. And that's where DC hurt themselves for 7 years, is they really didn't understand that. And it hurt them. The evidence is right there. They adopted that. Well, Kevin Feige, you know what? Like I said, Kevin Feige built his company, built his environment, and operates within that environment. Built one for DC that works for DC. It's not that hard. What else? No, I wouldn't fire Kevin Feige, because once again, Kevin Feige knows he's working for Marvel. Now, if Kevin Feige, stop that, please. Kevin Feige is, if he came over to DC, Kevin Feige would adapt to DC. He would get with that program. He's smart enough to know where you at. People who work at that level, those alphas, they look around the room and they see and they adapt. The Kevin Feige you got in Marvel wouldn't necessarily be the Kevin Feige that walked into Burbank and DC Studios, because he would read the room, and that's what you need to do. Otherwise you're just making carbon copy shit and not making any money doing it. All right. Not on a cinematic level. Not till now. They've always resisted it.
We should, but
yeah, and even in the comics. But remember, they tried to get rid of Elseworlds. They tried to go away with all that. And then, like I said, every time that they try to deconsolidate their universes and make one, they end up 5-6 years later come back. Well, that was fucking dumb. Let's do this. Elseworlds literally was born of regret from Crisis. So they don't. Like I said, now you have a guy who has come in and said, I don't need to rip this apart in order to make my thing. My fans aren't that stupid. And that's another thing that they were doing. They basically thought we were stupid. The people who run these things think we got two brain cells and we're rubbing them together and that we can get a half a thought. They didn't give the fans any credit. What Scott Snyder is doing is giving his readers and his audience the credits for not being fucking morons. And it's been a long time since DC's done that on any level. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, okay. It was on CW though. So you guys got to realize, once again, read the room.
They said they're done filming what you call it, by the way. Sandman Part 2.
Oh, season 2?
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to get demonetized? Because I thought about sharing, I was just talking about the Shadow Strays trailer. Oh, these guys, I don't know.
Not on a Saturday show. Not on a Saturday show. Yeah. We can do that on one.
Sunday.
We can do that on one of the fucking.
I'll put in the chat for you guys.
Put it in the chat.
We should have a dedicated demonetized day.
That's every day. Every day.
I was
organize it.
That's why we have a whole trailer thing on the Discord. I know it's not an official thing now, but everybody can view it there. We don't have to worry about losing on the 40 and 50 cents.
I know, 50. Axel, I know you were showing a cool action figure, but when you're putting it up, you got to realize I'm seeing all this screen. I can't. It's distracting.
Okay.
Throwing a mirror. It's like somebody throwing a
It was
mirror.
like a cool action figure of a Venom pool.
Yeah, when I'm trying to make a point, it's really hard when you're doing that. It's like, what's that in the screen? Stop.
Sorry.
All right, and now we have. Okay, that's where we need to end the show. All right, well, hey, I only need one fourth 1,000.
Fourth 2,000.
When he gets here in Vegas, I won't be needing that one because it'll be a ladder accident. But did I say that out loud? Sorry, fourth.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I think we covered everything.
Try.
Yeah, try you later.
Adam West
Try
is the
is-
best
Bye
Batman.
bye.
Yeah, there
Like,
you go.
we're like,
There you go. That's
Our
wonderful
Tra
Batman.
families bids you farewell on the Saturday evening. We had a very Tra watch party on Night of the Living Dead. Tra stream tonight. Lots of Tra topics.
Once
and
again,
more
for
Tra
those
is
of you
coming your
watching
way.
this channel for the very first time, because we are a growing channel, I am not a champion of misspelled words and typos. Yes, we are doing a Penguin Watch Party every episode.
Next episode, yeah.
Every episode.
I'm
is-
sorry.
That was
for those, feel let down by the Joker, but my man Art the Clown is coming up next Friday, and he will carry the torch.
And he is on camera endorsing the term Tra.
I'm glad that Clint brought up that crazy point earlier that just got the whole conversation going wild.
Yeah.
That
I
was
don't
awesome,
even know
Clint.
what did he say. He came and left. All right, that's it.
I always make points that you guys go off on.
Yeah, like what's up?
Oh, he didn't even
Yeah,
say anything.
Brad's the only one who calls me names and stuff because he's.
Well,
you
you're
know,
the
a
only
big
one who
bully.
pushes my buttons about this.
Go look at the tape. See how many times William brings up Scary Movie versus me.
Yeah, that's good. That's
All right.
Scary Movie's
See you
the
tomorrow night,
anti-Tra.
10:30. Penguin. Bye. Bye, guys.